They are pizza, but they are delicious.
Cheetos pizza thing? It changes everything. Hey, you guys ready? Pretty tasty. Hey, Donnie. You got someplace to go.
Cheetos Cheese Pizza Puffs. Proud to be the second best pizza thing.
Sweet kid. This is a hot flash.
What's going on, everybody? John out here with you. It's a Tuesday night, February 25th, 2025. It looks pretty symmetrical on the calendar. It is the Edmonton Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is going to be an ESPN Plus Disney Hulu only stream, and this should be a lot of fun. So for the Edmonton Oilers, they're 34-19-4. They're sitting second in the Pacific, virtue of a tie against VGK. Again, VGK has that breaker, so that's why Edmonton is where they are. It's Connor McDavid, Victor Arvidsson, Zach Hyman, Mattias Ekholm, Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, Vitaly Podkolzin, Matthew Savoy, Darnell Nurse, Troy Stetcher, RNH, Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown, Adam Henrique, Kasperi Kapanen, and Corey Perry. Brett Kulak, Ty Amberson will be on the back end with Stuart Skinner in the goal crease. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning, head coached by John Cooper, it sounds like this. They are 32-20-4 on the season. It is Braden Point, Jake Getzel, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Edmond, and Giannis Moser, JJ Moser. Anthony Cirelli, Brandon Hagel, Zimgis Girgensons with Ryan McDonough and Eric Chernak. Nick Paul, Mitchell Chafee, Blake Kavis, Luke Glendening, Michael Eastmont, and Nick Perbix with Emil Martinson Lilleberg and Darren Radish. The Big Cat, Andre Vasilevsky, will be in goal per usual for Tampa. There should be a lot of goals scored in this game. I know Vasilevsky's numbers have perked up a bit, and he's been good. Again, the win-loss is not so much. 26-15-3 should be a little bit better there, but 229 and a 920 with 3 shutouts. This is a difference of what's being opposed, and this is probably similar to what we've always heard about Edmonton. Again, they made the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They forced the Game 7 after being down 3-0, but 20-13-4, 2-8-1. 8-9-8, 2 shutouts. And Calvin Pickard, 14-6. He'll be the backup, 269, 896. Can't have 2 goaltenders with the sub 900 save percentage. Just can't do it. So they're 26 on the PK at 74% with sub 900 goaltending. So my question to you is, we're a minute away from puck drop here. Are they going to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals? Because they got to get to business. It's going to be Tampa, Florida, Carolina, all on the road after losing the back-to-back. They started the season right after the break, I should say, after 4 Nations. It was a 5-4 loss to Colorado. They come back in from that break, 6-3 and 7-3 losses to Philadelphia and Washington on that back-to-back. Still 5-4-1 in the last 10. They're still in good standing, about 9 points held of a playoff spot between second seed where they are and WC2. But I really think it's time for Edmonton to see what they're made of here in between the Tampa, Florida, Carolina part of the road trip and really get back to business, because they got some numbers that they need to fix. That's just me.
Montreal got a treat at the beginning of the 4 Nations. The game played up there, and now they're getting another treat with a 2-0 go ahead right now to the Habs.
This will change very quickly throughout the rest of the season.
And maybe even throughout the rest of the night. I mean, this is crazy when you look at these standings and how tight it is when you get below the wild card, below that cutoff. These teams are battling tooth and nail. We're only 13 days, not even. What are we away from the trade deadline? And next week.
The Lightning, of course, 3 points behind the Panthers. It's time to drop the puck in Tampa with Kevin Weeks. Here's the great cross. Thank you, Arda. Let's take a look at the next starting goalies, brought to you by American Express.
So we're going to get into the puck drop here in about 30 seconds, and I'll jump back into the play-by-play. So the 920 save percentage for the Big Cat is second in the NHL. So I said those numbers have perked up from what I saw in my 4 eyes. So win-loss isn't what he would want, but it's probably the numbers what he would think. 1-2-1 in the last 5 starts for Stuart Skinner. 2-8-1, 8-9-8, as we said, with a couple shutouts. In between Tampa, Florida, and Carolina, that's got to get better on the road here. You got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl split between 1C and 2C. Leon Draisaitl has been the best player in the NHL pretty much as far as his numbers. So this will be fun to watch. We'll see what happens here for the offense. We'll get into some defensive numbers for Tampa once we get some stoppages. Zemgus Girgensons back in behind his own seat now as is picked up by Hagel near the right side red line. And now Evan Bouchard gets his pass fanned right over. One-timer save from Skinner off Hagel, and that was right off Bouchard, and Stuart Skinner already has to bail out his team. 21 seconds in as Bouchard, just a terrible pass, and Cirelli picks it off right to Hagel, and that one's stopped by Stu. So big save early. Again, Jeff Skinner was supposed to be able to draw in the lineup, they said, but he got scratched anyway. So Connor McDavid will go ahead and take this D zone draw. We'll win this one right to Darnell Nurse. It bounces away from Arvidsson, but this will get across center ice. Again, this is a ESPN Plus only stream with Kevin Weeks and John Butchergross. So I'm John Ott. I'm going to take you all the way through the play-by-play game story. Hopeful Sports Guy per usual. Hagel. That line's still out there as Connor McDavid will come all the way back and pick this one up across the wall. Victor Arvidsson will just pass it into the corner as this one's slowed down by the big cat. Take this one D to D. Eric Chernak will chip this one off the glass. It'll actually bounce right back to him. And the Bolts here at Amelie. Again, they're going to be here for a little bit, I believe. Again, we'll get into all the fuzzies in a little bit. As Darnell Nurse will hit it off the glass. Tampa steals, looks for a deflection. That one goes wide of the right side of the crease. And J.J. Mosier will spin in his own end. Full ball past this, but this is picked off by Brett Kulak. And Kulak now will push this one ahead toward the right side point off the spin. He's stuck against the right side boards as it reverberates. Again, ESPN must have some microphones near that camera because you get a little bit of a buzz feedback. It's not very good on that side, but that's what you get for plus only streams.
This is exactly why you want to have your eye on the puck. For a young goaltender, you can't just take for granted that your team has possession. That's when you're in your zone. You've got to be sharp. There's a great example of that there by Andre Vasilevsky. And 2 assists this year for Vasilevsky, 22 in his career.
Being ozone draw for Tampa will be Nick Paul to go ahead and take this one against RNH. Nick Paul will win this one to the left side of the wall, but Clevis has to get back into his back skate with Wooleberg. His RNH long shot. This goes in and out of the glove of Vasilevsky. Saved by the Lightning and sent back down and across the logo. This Clevis. Kulak forces the steal. This will be sent back down for Big Cat. I'll brush this one toward the right side. This is a good forecheck for Edmonton. Vasilevsky, it's loose. Shot save with the left pad. It looked like he was down and out, but he covers a lot of the net, does Vass. As this is toward the left side of the red line and sent out into the bench. So you get a stoppage. John Cooper, a little bit of a breath there off that last chance. 13th season already as a Tampa's head coach. 638 point percentage and 2-time Stanley Cup champion. 20, 21, and denied in 22 alongside Cooper Hopkins and myself. And they call that epic 6-game series. Just trying to go for back-to-back-to-back. Not very often that happens. Turnaround chance. This one will go wide and high as this is sent back in behind the net. Picked off by Tampa as they can try to go left to right now. Jake Getzel. Good bounce pass. Michael Esamont. This one toward the goal mouth, and Luke Glendening couldn't get there. He got tied up, the former Redman. This will be Jeff Skinner. This will knock this one away for a moment. And now sent back down and around Mattias Ekholm. Ekholm fans on his clearing attempt to get this one across the red line, and Tampa might get some possession as Glendening takes a spill back in behind the net. No penalty call, but this will be swallowed up by Skinner nonetheless. Kris Knoblauch going to get his camera shot now as he's got that haircut split. 2024 Western Conference champion, second season as Oilers head coach. Spent some time with McDavid in the minors. That's why they brought him up there. 29 playoff wins, last 4 postseasons. On the same bracket with VGK, Colorado, Tampa, and Florida that has 35. Tampa's got 33. So these teams have known what it's about to win in the playoffs. It is hard to go deep. Edmonton was a game away after being down 3-0. And how hard is it just to get back to that point? This is now toward the right side. Glendening off a couple of holds against Savoie. Still trying to get near the right side is Tampa, and this will get sticked away. Kept in at the blue line nicely by Tampa. Cirelli will Send this one down behind the net for Brandon Hagel, one of the best plus-minus on the team. So slap. Rebound! Oh, wow, stop by Skinner as he slides over to the right side post and robs with the glove hand. That was a huge save for a goalie that has not had the numbers of late. Brandon Hagel gets absolutely robbed as he slides over off the jump. It bounces off of the defense of Kulak and Skinner. He was down and out, makes the save as Hagel, this goes right toward him, toward the right side of the post. And that was a leapfrog save by Stuart Skinner. Pretty good look there. I'm going to get to Ian in here in a moment. Again, this is the ESPN Plus only stream, so that's how we're watching this one today. I'll take you across the league, and we'll try to go anything in progress if we get to that time, because there's a lot of games today. This will be sent all the way back down. And now Tampa can start this one again, and across the boatload, a little kick there for Tampa as Nick Poulter has to shove this one into the right side of the red line. And now Mitchell Chafee will watch this one go away. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins getting his camera shot as this one's sent back down to the big cat. Andre Vasilevsky will start this in his own end off the chip off the glass. And this will be reflected here for Tampa. One outstretched pass, trying to find Paul. This one will get deflected right at center ice. Paul will get this to the right side of the boards. This Conclavis all tied up. This is the massive humanity here, just inside of Edmonton's D zone as it will drop back to Brett Kulak. Now off the chip of the glass, Kulak will get it back. Try to skate through in his own end, he'll do so. Gain the left side red line on his backhand. Kulak still with it off the drop. Here's a shot. This one goes high. Mattias Janmark will pin near the right side board. Severe angle pass as we step back down for Leon. His drop will get knocked away, and Edmonton will shovel it back to Ekholm. Good pass there. Draisaitl, good stick in the lane. This will knock it away. We'll get an ozone draw coming here for Edmonton. Ian, welcome, my friend.
Hello, Mr. Ott. It's good to be back.
Yeah, this should be a good one here today. Again on ESPN, Hulu, Disney, whatever you want to call that. This is the stream only, but Edmonton and Tampa, two teams that can score a ton of goals. And a goaltender right now, Stuart Skinner, when he just came in here, had a good robbery of a save, but does not have the great numbers against Vass. So we'll see what happens today. Should be expecting a lot of goals. So Bouchard and Ekholm will start this one again. Savoie, good pass. You got Podkolzin from Bouchard trying to give back there on a 2-on-1, and Tampa does find a way as Kucherov will flip this one nicely out of his own end. Braden points. He's got it. Toe drag shot in this one taken away by Edmonton's defense. Little end-to-end action. Didn't materialize in anything for either team. Podkolzin now. We'll go back here for Leon. Now Darnell Nurse off the gut, off the drop, and this one will go just wide off the stick. This will be picked up by Edmonton as they'll flub this one in the corner for Victor Hedman. Again, he spent some time for Four Nations on Team Sweden. Pretty much whole top line for Tampa was on Team Canada when they won over the United States, so they haven't had a lot of rest. This one now sent in here for Skinner. Michael Easemont almost trying to get the steal as it's Corey Perry. So this one again from Adam Henrique. Edmonton joining off the rush on a 3-on-3 long shot. Goes off the blocker of Vass. 4 shots to 3 here, no score. 14:35 left to go in the first. John under with you alongside Ian Genge, who has joined in. Got a lot of games here in the NHL, so we'll profile those in the intermission. Try to give you some of the big updates, injury updates as well. As this will be Lilleberg. Send this one back for Cirelli. This was an awkward pass, but Lilleberg able to take an extra beat. Make his feet up the middle. This one will be picked off by Edmonton, and Henrique will throw it back. As Edmonton in the mix of change with the Kris Knoblauch squad. 14:05 left to go in the first. It's Zach Hyman near the left side boards up the spin across the red line. Hyman throws it toward Vasilevsky. He saves it off the stick. And now Tampa will go ahead and push ahead. It's Cirelli and chip it in across the red. Toward the right side boards now. It's Nick Paul too far off the backhand. Chernak will slap to keep this one into the zone as Connor McDavid will lurk near the right side of the dot. This will be spun away from Lilleberg. McDavid will get it out nicely. This will be picked off now by Tampa across the neutral zone. Lilleberg beat Hagel. This will be kept in now. Good work there from McDonough. Long slap shot. This will get deflected by the Edmonton defense as they try to get out of their own zone. Ekholm. This will be right to Hyman. and played by Vass quickly with the stick. I thought he might hold it. He went to go play it as Kucherov in his zone. And here's a pass from 50 right in across the logo. Sent in off the wall by Jake Getzel. Getzel now trying to steal. He can't hold it in. It's off the spin and turn. It's Ekholm. Now with Janmark. Janmark will shovel this one into the corner for Victor Hedman. Slowly backhand and off the glass. As this will be picked up now by Victor one more time off the end around. And pull up my Tampa rosters. This is Kucherov. Had to play this one between his legs and then send it back. Start this one again for the Lightning in their own end. Here's Braden Point. Point now toward the left side of the blue line. He tries to get around three Oilers. Can't do it as it's Brett Kulak in his own end. Little bit of foreshadowing here of what's to come, but right now it's defense between these two as Edmonton will start for Skinner in their own end. This Kulak one more time. Shots are 6-3 Edmonton. We're scoreless. We're an anomaly right now in Tampa. Darnell Nurse. Send this one after Podkolzin. It's Lilleberg with J.J. Moser. Moser now will try to go left to right. This will be knocked away from Chafee. Gets this one ahead in the zone. And Conclavis all tied up with the referee. As this will be Luke Glendening, former Red Wing. Conclavis now on the backhand side. Loose pass. And this one will be going just wide of the right side post. J.J. Moser collects it off the carom. And this one will be resettled down for Draisaitl. Here's a rolling puck, and this will be iced for the first time against Edmonton.
He missed his new haircut because he was busy not missing hockey. Never miss a goal with live game stories only in the NHL.
5-game win streak for Tampa Bay. They've scored at least 4 in each of those wins. The offense is humming. They have plenty of chances in this one tonight. And the shot save by get a rebound. Another save on the rebound as Jake Getzel was there.
Jay Getzel had a couple of rebound opportunities as I was typing in the notes. I think he might just take a break here, but they're showing Brandon Hagel off that robbery there, and he got goal lead again. That was Kevin Weeks on the side that they throw there. Almost looks like they put that one in the Microsoft Paint. We'll officially take a break now. It's still scoreless.
Yeah, save, John. Your Detroit Red Wings. I thought they were going to blow it again, but they knuckled down and got 2 points.
Yes, they did. I know you sent the like and you saw the tweet from the end of the day. I had to say it because thankfully, Showtime, Mr. Patrick Kane, bailed us out. And then admittedly, as you called, Dean, he just said, we're making it too hard on ourselves over the last couple of games. They had a 3-1 lead against the Wild. They had a pretty much the same kind of lead, 2-goal lead against the Ducks again. And thankfully, they were able to get at least 3 of the 4 points off the back-to-back, but they do have Minnesota again today in about 25 minutes.
It's that rule that our friend Alec Nava has that I've adopted. The most dangerous lead in hockey is a 2-goal lead because it will disappear like that.
That's what it's been for the Red Wings so far, and they've got to get that one squared away. Again, I know I mentioned this a little bit more in the first intermission, but Andrew Kopp's season is done for the year. He sustained an injury in that previous game against the Ducks. So that does mean the Red Wings will have a decent amount of cap space because if you think about it, you saw the trade from yesterday with Kopp also being out. Ville Husso was traded for Mr. Future Considerations, and that's going to mean that 3.7, again, it's a little bit more, but officially what's on the books now for half the season is 3.7 off the books. And then Andrew Kopp on LTIR means the Wings have some money to spend. So they could be active players at the deadline. Ian and I have talked about that a few times as far as what they could bring in. But now, since it's officially official, and we have maybe a week and a half or so of the deadline, not even that, I think the Red Wings are going to be adding pieces, maybe plural.
Is there no way, with Andrew Cobb's injury, is there no way to do the Mark Stone cheese where you wait right up to the playoff and then, he's good to go?
I don't know if they're going to be able to hold the actual cheese there for Stone, because I know exactly what you're referring to, as long as he could be healthy. I hope that could be the case. But again, as you know, Ian, that already makes sure that the cap is already in place for the Red Wings to add. So it is good news for Detroit. You never want to lose somebody like Kopp, because, again, the penalty kill for Detroit is dead last. It's 32 out of 32. He's one of the guys that makes it a little bit better. Again, he can't be better than last. I mean, you can only hope to be, but he's one of the guys that actually kills penalties. As this one is sent the other way for Vasilevsky. We'll talk about that in a moment. As Littleberg off the out stretch now. Here's an opportunity. It is Gergenson's. His pass will get deflected, and this will be sent back down. We've already got some very intriguing scores that I'm seeing across the ESPN board. Some of them are surprising. Some of them are not so much. As this will be recollected now for Ekholm. And off the touch, we're almost halfway through this first. We're still scoreless. I will say this. The Flames have a 2-0 lead on the Caps. And their schedule is absolutely brutal. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get to there. As this one's flipped in off the glass. Hagel trying to get it out. And this will be chipped in off the slap shot. It'll be Ryan McDonough. McDonough now will spin and turn in his own end. Shot board is even at 6 apiece. We're still scoreless. As Nick Paul takes a hit alongside with Hagel. He's got it now to make a play. And toward the right side boards, and the Bolts go offsides right at 9:59. I think ESPN's going to take another step aside here. So this will give me a quick opportunity to go ahead and break down some of these scores, but I want to jump in here with the Flames because it's really a surprise. I will cover them next Thursday when they play the Stars, but I just want to profile this really quickly for anyone listening in. So as far as Calgary, we know where they are. They're just outside WC2. They got Washington today, which they're up 2-0. They got Tampa on the road, then Florida, then Carolina, Philadelphia, and Dallas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game road stand. And that is about as difficult as it gets. And I'll say this, in between the 6-game road stand, that is 12 possible points. If Calgary somehow gets 7 or 8 and around that 12, I would go ahead and lock it in now. I think they're going to make the playoffs. The regular season ends on Thursday, April 17th. But this essentially is your season right now. And if you perform well, I think that's going to be enough to keep you above the playoff line. Let's look at a couple more. Blue Jackets.
I'd have to agree with you, John.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't get any more difficult than that. Vancouver is kind of, I wouldn't say treading water, but they could be. And we are trying to figure out, Ian, what's going on with Brock Besser. Apparently, in between Vancouver and his agent, they are not close to a deal. Brock Besser wants years on his contract, and Vancouver, I don't think, is ready to give Brock Besser an 8-year deal. I'm not saying he wants an 8-year, but I think it'd be in a 6 to 8 year range. He wants some security.
Well, the fact of the matter is, he's been inconsistent for well, it seems like it. What it really seems like is last season was his career year.
Yeah.
Right. So sure, you have a career year for 1 year, but you're not repeating that same production.
No, you're right, Ian. And again, I think we can argue it both ways, and we would agree on this. If you have a career year toward a contract side, players want to get paid, and I get that. We agree there. But also, on the same time, if you're the team, you can't pay somebody just for one career year, because that's how you get these bloated contracts that hurt you. Shot goes off of Vasilevsky with the left pad from a Draisaitl set up for Savoie. And this one will go back down. 9:25 left to go in the first. So there's a little bit of a mix and match when you talk about these contracts. And these GMs got a lot to think about. Again, Ian and I mentioned this too over the last 3 years. You have the salary cap going up about $6.5 million per year, but a lot of these GMs play close to the vest as far as their cap space, and they use it all when they can. This will be a penalty against Tampa when they touch, as Skinner off the goal crease. It's going to be a tripping call. We'll pick up who that's on in a moment. McDavid out there with the extra skater. Now to the right side. Darnell spin and turn his pass, and the high slot picked up now for Corey Perry. And this will be recollected here for Tampa. They will keep it in. He's sent back down across for Perry. It's Troy Stecher. Stecher now. And the high slot here. Kapanen will send this one across. Stecher still waiting in the high slot. He'll give it right back to Darnell Nurse. This is Connor McDavid near the right side dot. Delayed penalty called until Tampa touch. It's still Edmonton's puck here. 8:25 left to go. This will be sticked. Tampa tries to get it, and now they finally will, but they're going to go to the penalty kill.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Remember when we all thought the Lightning were headed toward a rebuild window after Stamkos is gone?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to myself, Ian. You said it right. I thought the same thing. I thought Tampa was going to be done. And then, you know what? Carolina doesn't hold on to Jake Getzel. All the guys that you need to have good years like Kucherov, Hagel, Cirelli. Hagel has been ridiculous ever since they picked him up from the Chicago Blackhawks seasons ago. I mean, that's been a perfect signing. As this one now, we'll get into that more in a moment. Bouchard toward the right side dot as it's Draisaitl. But you're absolutely right, Ian. Draisaitl shot, scores! Set up from McDavid. It's not quite the Red Wings power play, I should say that, but it is still Draisaitl and McDavid. Toward the right side dot, Kucherov has to leave the penalty box in shame, and Edmonton's got a power play goal.
And make that 43 for Leon Draisaitl. Easily going, barring any disaster, he is easily going to reach 50 goals again.
He is the best player right now, as far as his stats will tell you, in the NHL, and he's quite good. We already know about it, Ian, as far as Connor and Draisaitl and everything else, but it's goaltending, it's defense, it's playoffs. What are you going to do at that point? Maybe you win a couple rounds. Maybe it goes no farther than that.
Right. I mean, considering the fact that the game before this one, where they played the Capitals, made your fraudulent claims seem a bit irrelevant.
Yep. No, I get that. Again, there's not any times where in between Ian, Alec, Cooper, and myself that we wouldn't tell you to admit that we're wrong. I was wrong on a few things. Kucherov, this one will get knocked away, but that's the thing. You learn from it. You continue to watch these teams. Kucherov, this one will get bounced a couple times. Skinner right in front of the goal crease, so holds. Cirelli getting pushed up by Nurse, and now Cirelli has a few words the other way as we get a stoppage. And again, if it's one game where the Flames beat the Capitals today, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything else. That would be a surprise. But Logan Thompson, since the break, has given up a few goals. I think it's like 6 in the last 2. So right now the Flames have a 2-0 lead. But Caps are pretty much can already walk into the playoffs. As that penalty was against Kucherov, scored immediately toward the right side dot from McDavid and Draisaitl. 7:28 left to go here in the first. I got Ian Genge with me. John, I'm here with you on the call. I'm going to take you all the way through this one. Again, if it gets out of hand, we can flip all the way across, maybe give you some NHL live looks as well. As this will be knocked away from Glendening, kept it at the point, a little knuckle puck. We'll go into the right side corner as Victor Hedman will shovel it in off the glass. Tampa trying to go ahead and find a press. Michael Esamont gets thefted, and this will be chipped in toward Mattias Janmark. And this will be recollected here for Troy Stecher. Now Kulak. Stecher and Kulak will play crisscross here as this will be an opportunity. Nice steal here from Michael Esamont. It's a 3-on-2. Braden Point in off the rush. Here's a backhand flip and score. Tampa takes defense right into offense, and we're tied.
And like that, Tampa hits a right back. Hold on to your seats, folks. This might not be a slaughter as some people thought, but instead of heavyweight bout with haymakers, hooks, jabs, crosses, and maybe at the end an uppercut.
I agree with you, Ian, and I have to do a double take there. Was that really Michael Eyssimont putting on the moves? He gets the steal, forehand, backhand, goes back to the backhand again. His fifth goal, first since January 9th. And that was pretty darn silky, as it's a 1-1 game now here at Omlink. And I was wanting to cover this one today because I figured I put it as red light district. There's going to be a lot of goals scored here, and I think that might be the case. But it's still early. We'll figure out what's going to happen, as it is Chernak in the high slot. Tampa will take this one in close. The deflection goes just wide of Skinner's right skate, as this will be Evan Bouchard now in his own end, trying to play this one a little bit cleanly as he gets double teamed. And now McDavid. Wow, what a spin move to get away. This is toward the right side. McDavid off the drop one-timer Bouchard. This one saved up and on a play, but I hope ESPN shows that again. McDavid was a one-handed spin move just to try to get this one out of his own zone. He does. He made that look easy as he set up Bouchard from the high slot, but it was saved it on a play. My goodness. 6:04 left to go here in the first, as Vasilevsky shoveled that one out play in the corner. It'll be a ozone draw for Edmonton right on the right dot. 6:04 in the first as J.J. Moser will play this one to Victor Hedman. Hedman's pass was elongated. This bounces off of Skinner, so Braden Point toward the right side boards. It's Nikita. We'll slowly send this one here for Moser. Now to Hedman. The tip goes just wide to the right side of the crease as Kucherov collects him across the right boards. Kucherov, high slot Moser, shot deflected off of Skinner. This is kept by Tampa, however. Dangerous feed from Kucherov. Will get it back from Pointer to shovel it toward the goal mouth. And Edmonton intercepts Pat Colson. We'll pick it up. This will be a knuckle puck and off the glass toward the left side of the center ice. Good pass, Getzel. Frees up Hedman off the drop, and too much skating there for Point. This will fall right to Skinner. He'll just snag it with the glove. 5:19 left in the first. We'll take another break. Just give you the reset here. It's 1-1. It is Leon Draisaitl on the power play. His 43rd from McDavid, his 51st apple, and Evan Bouchard, who's got number 36. No surprise with those slanted numbers.
Ever since they got direct TV, they don't miss a day. Not the opening pitch, not even the pregame flyover. Bobby Hawk. It's baseball season in America, baby.
And then Michael Eyssimont from Gage Conclavis at 13-11, Eysimont's fifth. Columbus right now is all over the Stars. It's 3-1. A couple of goals for Kirill Marchenko as we just got the update. I'm going to cover that Red Wings game on Thursday against Columbus. That should be a good one because those two teams are battling for the Eastern Conference wildcard spot, but then they'll meet up again on Saturday when I have the Sharks assignment. That'll be at Ohio Stadium. I'll be right where the Buckeyes play. Let's get back into the play-by-play. About 5:05 left to go in the first round. I'm here with you alongside Ian Genge. It's a 1-1 game, and this has been a good one so far. Nick Paul off the steal in his own end. We'll get this one ahead now for Mitchell Chafee off the backhand. Radish tried to set this one up, and a good shove in toward the right side board. This is Edmonton We'll flip this one back down the ice. This will be an opportunity off the backhand. Edmondson Lilleberg. And now Mitchell Chafee will shove this one back into the corner as Radish will make this one played ahead. Good pass off of Chafee. This will be deflected. Chafee now. Oh my goodness, what a hit! And near the right side boards, it's Chafee and Nurse. That was 2 bowling pins as Chafee got the worst of it. He'll pop back up though, but his head hit the boards. And we get a hand pass call. No penalties on that hit. We're probably going to see it again, but Nurse and Chafee went in toward the right side of the red line, and Chafee falling down, Nurse falling down as well, and as Chafee was falling, his face hit the boards hard in between all those camera shots, but immediately he is no worse for wear. That looked a lot worse than it actually was. He popped up like it was nothing, so good sign. Hits are 6 apiece. The score is 1-1 as we get a neutral zone draw. And now Evan Bouchard in toward the right side off of Ekholm. This will be stopped by Vasilevsky. Chipped in high off the glass. McDavid, see if he can keep it in. Here's Ekholm. He's still stuck and off the pinch. And now McDavid gets some reinforcements, throws it there off the point. This will be deflected. And now Tampa try to take this one left to right. Hagel, good feet ahead. Toward the left side, this will be saved by Skinner. Big rebound, shoveled in the left side red line. You know, Hyman, he'll take a hit to make a play as it's Chernak. Start this one again. Shots are 11-8 Tampa. It's been a really good first period. McDavid now. Toe drag in between everybody. Backhand drive to the net. This one saved by Vasilevsky. He lost his stick. And now the defense for Tampa will help Vas get it back. And try to forecheck does Edmonton. A little diving play just to knock it out of the zone. And it's Brett Kulak now. Start this one again. Gergensons will chip up and steal. And Adam Henrique will try to gain the red line. He couldn't do it. Isamon already back out there from scoring the goal. It was the one that tied it up. As now it's 3:15 left to go in the first. Nice one-handed tuck there for Henrique. But here is Glendening off the steal near the right side. Trying to find Paul. Pass a little bit too hard off the boards. Nick Perbix. Send this one toward the net. Isamon got robbed right at the doorstep. That was off the rebound. He could have had 2. There's this one picked up the other way. Perbix off the lift. Draisaitl steals and shoots. This one picked up by Perry. That was right in between Lilleberg, but he got lifted. Now Draisaitl off the tie-up. This is right to Corey Perry. We'll shovel this one. Kulak fakes the bomb. Probably should have shot it. And now Tampa will kick this one ahead, and this will be sent the length of the ice for Isamon and settled back down by Skinner. It is an opportunity now for Mattias Janmark. Janmark was pretty good in that Stanley Cup final against the Florida Panthers, but again, Panthers did win in 7. As this one's knocked away, Getzel will launch this pinball off a Nurse right to Kucherov. Jake Getzel, one more touch in off the boards. Point will keep it in. Couldn't get it to Getzel though. 2:10 left to go in the first. Be settled back down by Radish. Now Point will play this one in center ice. Back to Radish. Radish send this one right up the gut to Point. Point trying to get around a Black Friday Mall phone booth here for Mattias Ekholm, and Getzel will watch this one go into the corner. This will be knocked away and right at center ice. Be settled back down by Radish one more time. Gain the left side red line and send it in. Here's Ekholm, takes a hit. Back in behind his own mesh. Jake Getzel busy with it. Here's a good steal. Kucherov. He's able to set it up. One-timer save there by Skinner. Fights it off with the right pad as it's Evan Bouchard off the deflection. Gets sent in for Radish. 90 seconds left to go in the first. He'll play this one off his backhand as Radish. Now Victor Hedman here for Kucherov. This one played in between the legs here. Hagel will send it in deep for Cirelli and Skinner. Stopping it across the right side red line. Kucherov's pass. High slot Hedman. Slap pass Kucherov. This one will be pinballed off the boards. Kucherov will shovel it into the corner. Ekholm lost his stick for a moment. Cirelli trying to join in on the fun, and this will be picked up now for Chernak. Take it D to D. High slot now Mosier. Hagel takes a hit. McDonough send this one in now for Kucherov. Chernak plays a back pass, and this one is nobody back as this is picked up now for Tampa and across neutral, but they cough it up. Here is a pickup here for Janmark. Now chasing here for Cirelli. Good inside out move there for Janmark as it's Hagel at his own end. Have to keep things clean here. Shot board is 14-9 for the Bolts. It's a 1-1 game. Tampa in their own end make the outstretched pass from about 170, and that was last touched off of one of the Edmonton players, so that's not iced. Draisaitl now. He's the one that made it a 1-1 game. Draisaitl, what a move. And between the right side, Doc gets around a couple, but it's Hedman, gets the steal. We'll make this one from 150. Off the drop, Paul gets taken out. Then he gets run into the referee. This is a pass picked off right in front of the goal mouth, and that ends the first. It's 1-1. A lot of hits, a lot of shots. Both goaltenders have been active. It was a good first 20 minutes, and we'll call more when we come back.
This one, engineered by McDavid, isolates McDonough just for a second. Turns it. Good stick by McDonough in combination with his goaltender Andre Mattias. A little half full check there, well done. And then we have Draisaitl, the other end of the team. Short. He has others. The engineers one, but big back saves, you said, which hard stop.
So let me give you the numbers, and then we'll break down everything else. So shots on goal, 14-9 for Tampa. Hits, 9-7 for the Bolts. Face-offs also in favor of the Lightning, 10-7. And the one power play was a goal for Edmonton. So Leon Draisaitl on the power play. Let me fix it on my notes. From McDavid and Bouchard, and then Michael Eyssimont from Blake Concavis. And that is it, and that is all for the first. So again, the first turnover, and Hagel is robbed a couple times by Skinner. Edmonton leads the shot board early. Draisaitl power play goal from the right dot. McDavid had a one-handed spin move out of his own, and Eyssimont forces the steal and scores. Forehand, backhand, nice move, 13-11. Again, we saw some of the moves from McDavid and Dry. We saw the skill. It was a good period, and I just profiled the reset there as far as the numbers. Let's jump into some of your live scores. Again, the Flames are starting the second. I almost want to jump into that one, but I feel like I got to look at the Wings for a moment. It is the Maple Leafs and the Bruins. Bruins have a 2-0 lead. It is Pasta and Marchand. Marchand on the power play. Swayman getting the start. 11 of 11. Stolars 15 of 17. That in the second period. Ducks have a 2-0 lead over the Sabres. I do want to mention this. Again, I won't mention this during the play-by-play, but I'll mention it now so anyone on the YouTube side of the space can hear it. But I was pretty upset, and I don't really want to sit and call names and call out NHL player safety and all that, because in the end, I feel like they got it right. But the hit that Trevor Zegras put on Michael Rasmussen with the no-look hit toward the face, that was not called as a penalty during the game, but Zegras did get a 3-game suspension, so eventually it was right. But the Ducks had a lot of cheap shots. The game got pretty interesting. That's also where Andrew Kopp got injured. Again, Lucas Raymond able to get away from a reverse hit from Rako Gudas. And, we'll see what happens here with the Ducks. They're pretty close as far as playoff line from what anyone else expected, but they are a physical, mean team, and they are taking the highlights of Jacob Trouba and bringing that onto this team and giving them life that way. So look out and keep your head up. That's all I'll say. Canadians have a 3-0 lead on Carolina. That's a surprise. Yuri Slafkowski is another one of those that can play a la like Matthew Tkachuk. He's still a young player finding his game, gets his 10th. Big body, though. Patrick Laine, Nick Suzuki, power play goal the latest. Montembeault, 9 of 9. Freddie Anderson, 7 of 10. Mikko Rantanen is a -1 with a single penalty. It is 4 penalties on the Hurricanes. Chatfield, Gostisbehere, Burns, and Rantanen already. So that needs to be cleaned up. I'm sure Rod Bendemore's not going to like that. Penguins do get a goal to the good, but they're down 2-1 against one of their arch rivals. Rasmus Ristolainen and Noah Cates for Philly. Philip Tomasino for the Pens. Sam Ersson, 12 of 13. Nedeljkovic, 18 of 20 for Pittsburgh. We already profiled the Caps losing 2-0 to the Flames at Capital One. They're on home ice. But I do want to break down this for the Blue Jackets because, my oh my, it is Kirill Marchenko, Matthew Olivier, Marchenko again, and Provorov. 2 goals in both periods. Rope Hintz and Jamie Benn for the Stars, but Elvis Merzlikins just 6 of 8. And Otter getting roughed up. 13 of 17 as the Blue Jackets have scored 4. It's 4-2. Our game is 1-1 between the Oilers and Bolts. The Rangers against the Islanders, they're up 3-1. Kraken Blues are scoreless. Panthers and Preds. Panthers got an early 1-0 lead, and then the only other game about another hour from now will be the Blackhawks in Utah. The Wild have just scored. That is Marco Rossi, who was already terrorizing the Red Wings last time they played. 21st on the power play from Boldy and Jared Spurgeon. Cam Talbot, 3 of 4. Gustafsson, 4 of 4. I'll turn on the Red Wings game for a moment, and then I will flip back. Because we got at least about 5-7 minutes. I know I couldn't say this on record because it didn't cover that Wild game. We did the late one in between Vegas and Vancouver. That ended up being a good game. But I do think the Red Wings are going to lose both of these games against Minnesota. I will say that. So we'll check this one out for a minute, and then we'll flip back into the featured game.
Wild have a 1-0 lead on the Wings. Marco Rossi.
Yeah, I just saw that, Ian, on the power play side. I'm a little bit concerned of whether or not they're going to win a game in this series. It's only a 2-gamer between East and West, but I do think the Wild have a little bit more depth, and that's even without Kirill Kaprizov. And again, as you mentioned with Andrew Kopp, them being a little bit short-handed. No Michael Rasmussen either off of the Zegras injury. Again, I profiled some of that. I'm glad the suspension was warranted. But the Red Wings are going to be a little bit light, and we'll see what happens. I'm still wondering, after the Ville Husso move, when it was a sweetheart deal from the Ducks and all that cap space, and now Kopp on LTIR, I do think the Wings are going to make some moves. I don't know if they're going to swing for the fences, but maybe they can sign somebody in the offseason off of one of their pickups from the deadline. You never know. I do think the Wings need some secondary. Do I want to say scoring or defense? Because they probably need more defense, but they could probably use secondary goal scoring because I'm still hearing that they might be shopping Vlad Tarasenko because he just hasn't worked out as much as they wanted him to in Detroit. So we'll see what happens in about another week.
The Blues just took a 1-0 lead on the Kraken, and John, right now, the West is such a paper tiger that in theory, the Blues could make a run and have enough go their way to get that second wild card spot, but man, it is. I remember. So that clear-cut path.
I know I lost you for a little bit there, Ian. I know I got some of it on the back end, but I agree with you in the sense of not out of reach for St. Louis, especially if Jordan Binnington finds a way that he did in the Four Nations to play that way, especially in the final game. We saw how good he can be. You need a little bit more defensive pieces. I think you still got some good players out front. I don't think there is anyone. Again, I mentioned the Flames, but Vancouver, Utah, St. Louis, even the Ducks. I don't think there's anybody really taking control of WC2. It's just, as you said, it's a matter of needing to go right now. St. Louis needs to start banking points in a hurry because with the deadline, the season ends pretty much a month after that. They really can't afford to mess around. They got to make a run quickly. Take another minute here and then I'll flip back over. But 6-6 on the shop board again. Marco Rossi, 2020 draft class. So he was the 9th pick. 161 games, 42 goals, 49 assists, 91 points. Lucas Raymond was the 4th pick. 93 goals, 144 assists, 237 points. Marco Rossi is a pretty good player, though. I think the Red Wings would be happy to have him, but you're not going to flip him out for Lucas Raymond. So it's kind of a misleading stat board and alongside for Detroit, but go ahead and take it nonetheless. I'm looking forward to that game on Thursday between Detroit and Columbus because it is a battle of two teams in the wild card spot. Columbus, maybe at this point, considering with some of the injuries that just happened in Detroit, do you think they might have the advantage? And really, honestly, you have a back-to-back in between Thursday and Saturday against the same team, and both teams really need to win both games outright. They can't have any overtime where both teams pick up points. So if Columbus wins both games against Detroit or vice versa, that's really going to hurt the teams that are chasing each other. So that's really interesting to find between Thursday and Saturday. I know it might not be on everybody's radar, but it probably should be one to watch if the games are close. It might be exciting. Oh, my God. Again, I'm glad I'm not calling this during the live play-by-play, but Cam Talbot just gave up one of the stinkiest goals I've ever seen. This one bounces off his left pad and bleeds in anyway, and the Wild have a 2-0 lead. And again, as I mentioned when I'm going into this, I'm glad I wasn't covering this game, but they're going to have to play much better against the Blue Jackets than they are right now against the Wild. This one bounces off Jacob Lacko, bounces off the left pad of Talbot, and just falls right in the net. I mean, that's just a weak goal. Maybe it also went off Jonas Johansson as well, but Talbot couldn't save it, and he really needed to. And I'm going to flip this here in a moment, but, Ian talked with this about it as far as Andrew Kopp. It's expected to miss the rest of the regular season. Did not say anything about playoffs if Detroit should get there, but we'll see when that happens. Looks like Dallas is caught in a shootout with Columbus. They've now made it 4-3. They're still down a goal.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a little quiet right now because I got a piece of certain piece of news on the geopolitical scale. I think it's worth mentioning.
Go ahead.
Reports are coming in that Ukraine has surrendered and agreed to a peace deal. That more or less they give everything and get nothing.
So the way that I understand that, again, I don't want to talk about anybody's political affiliations, but I think in between you, me, Alec, and Cooper, we can have civil discussions because, again, I don't judge anybody. But the way that I understand that one, Ian, is all the money that was given in between the Biden administration, obviously Zelensky cannot pay all of that back. So Trump is trying to say, well, give us some of your minerals in exchange for some of that to help out the United States. But I think they need to conjure out some sort of peace deal anyway, though, because the war between Ukraine and Russia cannot continue because there's too many Ukrainians dying.
Yeah, well, see, if that was all it was, it may not be that bad, but conditions are no membership to NATO, and Ukraine is forced to concede territory to Russia.
Yikes. The second part is not very good. The NATO stuff, I mean, it hasn't worked out for the United States, but I can't say it hasn't worked out for the other countries, so I can't speak on that. But the second part of that is not good.
And the reason I'm disturbed by that, John, is the next country right after Ukraine is Poland, where my ancestors are from.
That's the same for me, my friend, on that side. Again, it's long bloodlines and all that, but that's part of my heritage as well. So, and yeah, that would not be good because you imagine Poland would stand no chance.
No. Now, I don't know if Poland is part of NATO, so maybe they're protected, but they're not. Expect another war in the East pretty soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on. It doesn't matter whoever's in office. I mean, just say it honestly. World peace and all that stuff, I don't think it's something that people want. I don't think it's realistic, but I do think that there are steps that the United States should take to kind of preserve that and make sure that things are okay. And I also will say this too. I do think, let me say this the most sensitive way that I can for anyone because I don't want to get lashed out at. I do think other countries also need to not take advantage of some of the stuff that the United States does. I understand they have a lot more to give. Everybody understands that, but everybody's back needs to be scratched. It's really hard to do, but it's got to be done because you don't need wars. You don't need all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, like always, see what happens.
Yeah, it's the only thing we can do, Ian, and I just hope that at some point, because I don't even if Putin's listening on me, I could be shut down tomorrow, but that dude is dangerous. So he's the one guy that everybody's fearful of, and I can say this too now because we know. I mean, he's got nukes pointed at the United States at this moment, so you really can't mess with somebody like him. It's tough to kind of bend the knee to somebody like that, but I don't know what else to really do. Very complicated stuff. And I can tell you this, if I was born in another life and someone offered me, and let's say I had the smarts to do it, I had the people and I had some people around me, do you want to be president? I would say, hell no, I do not.
No.
Nope.
Nope. Couldn't do it.
No, I appreciate you bringing that to light, and I appreciate the fact that you and I could actually have a discussion and talk like normal people. Because for whatever reason, there's a lot of people that just can't do that, and I don't really understand it.
Yeah. Oh, and would you look at that? The Blues power play actually does something. Oscar Sundqvist with his 5th goal of the season. Blues are up 2-0 on the Kraken.
It's his second tour of duty with the Blues. I like the former Red Wing. Oscar Sundqvist has a little grit and sandpaper. Good for him.
Stanley Cup champion, I believe. Or was that Sundqvist or was that Hornqvist?
It might have been Patrick Hornqvist. I think you're right then. Let me see if I need to plug in my phone. I'm getting awfully close here. So let me, I'll do that at the next break so we don't lose the feed. We're going to get started here with the second period. It was a good one between Edmonton and Tampa Bay. I apologize for the barking dog. Again, anytime I do any of these streams a little bit earlier, that's what happens. As this is picked off by Hagel, immediately Tampa was trying to go off to the races right off the second period puck drop. And Zach Hyman will send this one in. Bounces off of Arvidsson, and this will be Anthony Cirelli. This will be flipped back down and across for Conclavis. And now Hagel can chase Working behind the net, trying to score with a wraparound, and he does! Brandon Hagel! And Tampa takes a 2-1 lead. That's a sick goal. His 28th.
Also, while that's being replayed, can we just bring to light that the Montreal Canadiens are whooping up on the Hurricanes right now?
Ian, that's not a good look. I don't care if it's one regular season game or not. You can dismiss that all you want. That should not happen for Carolina. That can't happen.
No, as a matter of fact, let me look at this. Go ahead and write. So these are the these are the plus minus right now for their starters.
Yeah.
Sebastian Aho, plus minus 0. Taylor Hall, -1. Seth Jarvis, -1. Jackson Blake, 0. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, 0. Jordan Martinook, 0. Mikko Rantanen, -1. Eric Robinson, 0. Jack Roslovic, -2. Jordan Stahl, 0. Andrei Svechnikov, -1. Brett Burns, 0. Jalen Chatfield, -1. Shane Gostisbehere, 0. Dmitry Orlov, -1. Jacob Slavin, 0. Riley Stillman, -1. Sean Walker, -1. And Freddie Anderson has allowed 3 goals.
And you know what?
The entire Carolina Hurricanes team is, to quote Steve Dingle, fumble the puck around the ice.
You know what that tells? Because you're exactly right, Ian. You know what that tells me? A lot of those ones that you mentioned, the negative, are a lot of Carolina's best players and their leaders, and they're getting pushed around by Montreal, who really has struggled to win games lately. So that needs to be cleaned up big time. So Brandon Hagel with a very pretty goal. It was the second time Bouchard got burned, but the first time he gave up a goal. But that's not a surprise there. He does get a ton of points, but he's more of an offensive defenseman, and we know that. Conclavis, who's a knuckle puck, this one will go the length of the ice from side to side at least. And now Nick Paul looking behind him, trying to brace for any hits, as this will be picked up here by Edmonton. Janmark send this back to his defense. Have to start this one again off a long outstretched pass from about 150. Corey Perry will steal this one right in near the player's bench. It's Hyman now, spending some time on the fourth line as this one is in between Connor Brown. He'll pick it up. Brown will go toward the right side for Bouchard, toward the right dot. Spin and turn is Corey Perry. He's not going to be able to get there. And this will be chipped in deep off of Adam Henrique. And now Tampa from right to left. Again, they are in the home blues. Michael Eyssimont just too far for him as Bouchard with the stick lift. As this is knocked away from Kasperi Kapanen. Kept in by McDonough near the left side blue line. Getzel on his backhand. Getzel will leave. Back to McDonough. He's wide open. Shoots deflected. Double tip. This one goes just wide off of Skinner's left post. Getzel recollects. 16:40. Here's McDonough. Shot will be deflected and kept in. Tampa now toward the right side red line. Here is Glendening. Send this one around the horn for McDonough. McDonough chips in. Try to keep this one alive. Getzel is going to play D at the moment as he will shuffle. Toward the right side, it's Cirelli. Now Eyssimont. Still looking for a lane as Tampa will send this one in. Bouchard off the turn. This is kept in by Tampa. This is a long zone possession here for Edmonton. It's been kept in for a minute. High slot shot. Good glove save for Skinner. Needed to do that. It was a lot of tired Edmonton bodies. 16:05 in the second. So this will be Canucks and Kings on TNT. And then you got a little bit more stuff on Thursday with ESPN Hulu. I'm not going to be around tomorrow. I've got to spend some time with the missus, but we'll be back on Thursday between the Wings and Columbus. But maybe I might have to adjust my assignment. I hope not. I want that to be a competitive game. I'm kind of worried, though, that Columbus might feed the Wings their lunch, as this one's sent back around off the D-zone wing. Kucherov will get a steal, though. Kucherov Get knocked away in the high slot. Draisaitl can't get it out. Kucherov gets the steal. Points there with him. He drops it for a point, but it's just too far. As Victor Hedman will have to start this one again. The captaincy for the Bolts. Hedman taking an outstretched pass. It's picked right off from the high slot. Here is Podkolzin. He'll wrap away around for Draisaitl. Set it up. He'll be knocked away by Vasilevsky with the right pad. As Hedman gives a rare giveaway. And now a penalty will be called. And players rush toward Hedman. He got hit up high. J.J. Moser now in a lock with Podkolzin, but you don't want to mess with Victor Hedman. And Tampa did the right thing. They rushed over to their captaincy after players were getting all tied up. And Victor Hedman's having some words with Darnell Nurse. And I would have to imagine, this is just my guess, if you had any drops in between Victor Hedman and Darnell Nurse with the gloves, I would take Victor. 15:30 is the stoppage on the clock as the Zebras will sort everything out.
One thing I'd like to note is the end of the second period for the Flyers and the Penguins. And the Flyers are probably committing seasonal hunting crimes because
Oh boy.
the Penguins are getting slaughtered 5-1 right now.
Oh boy. Alec is in Mexico right now, Ian, so maybe he doesn't have to even think about this.
Yeah. The fact that both of his schemes are on the snide tonight, but this should get the message across to the Penguins that, hey, maybe it's time to hit the big red button. We're getting our butts kicked by the Flyers. Flyers.
Let me ask you this as Tampa's on the power play. I'm going to jump into this in a moment. I know Sidney Crosby says he doesn't want to go anywhere, but you'd have to think that if they moved him, at least you could get multiple firsts maybe, right? I mean, you're still going to get something for Crosby. Why not hit the button?
Loyalty.
Yeah.
It's that thing called loyalty. It's great on the surface, but yeah, you trade Crosby, at least 2 firsts.
Yeah, and the loyalty thing is what hurt the Red Wings with Ken Holland. Hagel now, slap shot. What was a bomb? This one will go up and on a play, and we get another hand in the air. Is this going to go against Edmonton again? If it is, it's going to be a 5-on-3 power play for the Bolts. I'm going to check to make sure here as, the Zebras are calling out something else. Let me get everybody updated here. This will be another one in the box for Edmonton. So Draisaitl with a high stick against Hedman. And now the second one also in the box. So that is Draisaitl as well and Nugent-Hopkins. And this is a 5-on-3 for the Bolts for about 1:35. I would say cash the ticket. They're going to score here. Man, oh man. And you have to think about this too. I don't know if Ian joined a little bit late. I mean, he's been here pretty much the whole way through. But when I mentioned this for the Oilers, they got Tampa now, and then they have Florida and Carolina. You think if Carolina gets their you-know-what together back at that side, the Oilers are going to have a tough 3 games on the road as they go around that Florida side. So Mattias Janmark have to go ahead and try to win this draw as Edmonton needs to kill a 5-on-3 for 1:12. 102 power play goals, 3rd most in Lightning history for Braden Point. That is a ton. Kucherov, Hagel, back to Nikita near the right side dot. Now Victor Hedman really high slot near the left dot now. He's really pinched. Point, send this one across. It'll be bounced in off the wall. Kucherov will recollect. It was a dangerous feed. Hedman with a ripper, scores! Power play goal for Tampa, and they could get more. It's 3-1.
How much time do they have left on their second power play?
I believe, Ian, I don't want to quote myself, but it's at least 1:35. They got a ton.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of time.
So 1:30 left officially now. Kucherov off the drop, touch for Hagel. Tampa can really put this game away, you would think, even against a team like Edmonton. If they score again, it'd be a 3-goal lead. Kucherov, good touch pass out in front. Hedman spins, leaves for Kucherov to the right dot. Looking nasty. Here's a shot. This will be tipped off of Skinner from Getzel. And this will be picked up here for Hagel near the right side boards. Edmonton just trying to jam away at Brandon Hagel, but it's to Kucherov. He's alone near the right side red line. Now back for Victor Hedman. Now Nikita. Nikita touch for Getzel in the bumper near the right side red line. Dangerous pass from right to left dot. Here is Hagel. He's just trying to get away from the traffic. Kucherov near the right dot. Point inside. He gets lifted, and this one will be sent back down the ice. Vasilevsky, 35 seconds. What a beautiful pass. It's going to spring for Koklavis. Oh, and he gets robbed by Skinner. That was set up by Vasilevsky's pass. He would have had a secondary assist. And this one will now be knocked away as Radish will pick it up right at center ice. Nick Paul now will drop for Kucherov. Kucherov, little inside-out move, buy some time. Here's another feed for Radish. Set up the 1T Cirelli. That'll get deflected up and on a play. Still 11 seconds left to go on Tampa's second power play. They already scored one, and the shot board's starting to look slanted. Let me give you that update as well. 21-10 as the Lightning have a 3-1 lead.
The end of the first period, the Blues are up 2-0 on the Kraken. The Wild are up 2-0 on the Red Wings. Let's hope that changes throughout the course of the game. The Panthers are surprisingly only up 1-0 on the Nashville Predators, who okay, the Predators may not be the worst. The Predators, no. The Blackhawks are the worst team in the league. But to be honest, though, with all the expectations of that Nashville had, does that make them the worst team in the league? Because we weren't really expecting Chicago to be much of anything.
I agree with you, and I think that's well said, and that's how it has to be, because look at it. In between teams like Seattle, Chicago, all those ones like that, San Jose, when you have no expectations of them, you can't really consider them to be bad, even if they're worse officially in the standings. I think that's well said. Nashville, we all had, and I will say this too, I had them as a shoo-in for a playoff team. At worst, I thought they would be a WC2. They're not anywhere close to that.
No. And I can't quite place what's happening. It's not even particularly one thing. The entire team just decided to malfunction this season.
Yeah, it's like a wet paper towel. Everything just fell out underneath them, and I don't know how they're going to get it back. Because I mentioned this really quickly alongside Alec and you and Cooper and all that. You know, Barry Trotz says he wants to reload. Okay, well, Jonathan Marchessault, Steven Stamkos, and Brady Shea are also another year older alongside with Jussi Saros. I don't think it's as easy as they think it could be.
I mean, they are strapped for cap space right now, right?
Yeah.
They don't really have any wiggle room for the next offseason.
No. It's not going to be an easy fix. And really, let's just say it honestly, and in between those three that we mentioned, who wants them right now with the long deals that they've signed? They have no value.
I mean, I was thinking if they're just bad going onto the deadline, maybe they try and swing. Maybe if the Blues standings improve enough to where they're in the wild card or on the cusp of it, maybe they try a reunion tour and get Ryan O'Reilly for a significantly reduced price. Because there's rumors right now that the Maple Leafs are going to be ponying up to trade for Brayden Schenn.
You try to give that another tour of duty as well. I mean, I get that, and Ian, you might be right, but I think even if I'm Doug Armstrong, I'm saying if you're not doing any sort of salary retention on some of those deals to try to help out St. Louis, whether it would be like a Stamkos or a Marchessault or whatever else, or whatever pieces they might consider giving up, if they're not giving significant salary retention for St. Louis, I think Doug Armstrong just hangs up the phone.
Yeah, I agree.
This one will be knocked away. McDonough's long shot will be pushed up into the corner. There's just really not much room for Nashville to maneuver and make their team better. And they're not used to being a team that is just not competitive. Look, Nashville hasn't had Stanley Cups and anything else in their history, but they've always been a playoff team. I know some people can criticize them. I know some ones that do as far as like participation banners and everything else that they have that they like to do, but they're usually always in the playoffs, and when they're like this, fans aren't used to that. I don't blame them. As McDonough now for Draisaitl. He's mixed alongside with McDavid because Edmonton is down a couple of goals. This is now on a high slide off the deflection, trying to find Corey Perry. Corey Perry going to get some top line time. Slap shot solved by Vasilevsky as Hyman was out front. It is 11-10 left to go in the second. The Bolts up by a pair. It's 3-1.
Draisaitl all night long. Draisaitl has 4 of Edmonton's 12 shots, including the goal. He's been the best player on their team.
I know if this continues across, and I mentioned this with Ian, Ian's team might be the only one out of the hometown teams that actually get a W today, which I'll be happy for him on that side. But it's going to be a rough one for everybody else. And maybe when we get into the next intermission, I think the live look-in will be Columbus and Dallas, because that game has been absolutely insane. As it's 10:55 left to go in the second. Tampa's still up by a couple. If this one gets way out of stretch, we can just flip it back over across. This will be J.J. Moser, but this one's still close enough right now. Moser off the tie-up. This will be Corey Perry now back out there, trying to get some help and alongside Victor Arvidsson. And this will be lifted away by Tampa's defense. Good press in the middle corner. Nick Paul will watch, and Skinner can only hold. Skinner is 1-3-1 in his last 5 starts, and the goals against has been north of about 350. We mentioned this going into the game that both goaltenders, whether it's Calvin Pickard, the former Red Wing and Avalanche champ a long time ago, and Stuart Skinner, both of them have sub-900 save percentages. So that's got to get much better, but that's also the problem that we've had with the Edmonton Oilers over the last several seasons with Draisaitl and McDavid. Nobody cares about the scoring. We know that they're good there. Can you defend? Can you do anything on the penalty kill? Last year they could defend, and that was more of an just revelation because now their penalty kill is back to being 27th out of 32, and it's all the same problems. Here's a save right in the glove of Skinner from distance. We'll do it again. So 10:27 left to go in the second. Again, a couple penalties for Edmonton in this period. Draisaitl and RNH gives up 1 power play goal. That for Victor Hedman. His 9th from point, and Kucherov. Brandon Hagel had the first 29 seconds, and from Zemgus and Anthony Cirelli. This will be sent back in now off the shot, and Edmonton will try to get this out for RNH. Picked off again. Point sets it to the right side. High slot now. Lilleberg shot, and maybe Point should have let that one go. As Kucherov will try to lurk for the puck. Bounced off of Getzel. Getzel gets this to the left side red line. Back to D. And then send Lilleberg. Send this one across. Lilleberg gets it now. Shot tipped. A good save. Skinner. He needed it. As Emerson tried to help keep it out in front of Skinner. As we're halfway through regulation. We'll take another break. Bass hasn't had a lot to do here. 11-12. It is 19-22 for Skinner. I know for those that are listening in, I appreciate it. Alongside Ian, who talked about this, I think, about a week ago. He's been joining in a lot of my streams, and I appreciate it. It is Vegas and Edmonton. Who was going to get the number 1 seed? Alec and I took Edmonton. Ian took Vegas. And right now, Vegas has the 2-point lead. Edmonton's got a game in hand. They won't after tonight, especially if they lose. Vegas will be up by 2 points. But these are the type of games, and the way that they've been playing over the last stretch, just giving up just a multitude of goals. It's not going to last because I think Vegas made a good pickup there with Brandon Saad after the contract termination. I know Theodore's going to be out, but their defense is still quite good. It is possible. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Vegas is always one of those teams, regardless of cap space. They make moves. They make moves that make a lot of sense. Ilya Samsonov as a backup has not had the numbers that he's wanted. Again, another sub-900. Aiden Hill was terrific in his last game. Point being is Karl Vlamilka of Utah is available. He's got very good numbers. I think he could be on the way to Vegas if they want to try to add to the goaltending tandem. Because if you have Hill and Vlamilka, I think Vegas has a pretty good tandem to at least, if they keep it right, go to the second round. They're a good team. I don't see them really faltering any other way.
Which team are you referring to, John?
I was talking about possibility of Vegas adding at the deadline as far as their goaltending. Ilya Samsonov's hit a sub-900, but Karl Vlamilka's available, and Vegas usually makes home run swings. I think that would be a smart one for them.
Well, not always. Actually, what was surprising was when they won the cup, they made low-key moves acquiring. Who was it? Who was it that they acquired? It was like really under the. Well, one of those moves was acquiring Jonathan Quick from Columbus. They just brought him in as high in depth. But there was another low-key move that flew under the radar that was helpful in what they did.
Yeah, no, it added to their depth, and then when they ended up getting Ivan Barbashev in the mix, and he was a monster during that playoff run. He was one of the reasons why they won it.
Yeah, and now they're still doing it because one of their players, a really hard Eastern European sounding name, I think.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Pavel Dorofeev.
Yep, he's having a breakout season,
Yes.
an insane season. You know, everyone was thinking, well, what's going to happen now that Marchessault's gone? Problem solved.
Yep. No, you nailed it. And again, Dorofeev, I think, is 23 years old on the side of it, too. So that was a late first-round pick for Vegas. He's leading in the goal-scoring department. He's breaking out everywhere. This is a save off of Bouchard from Vasilevsky. And Vegas looked really good when I saw them on that weekend against Vancouver. And that was a highly contested game. Vancouver played well, but Aiden Hill was amazing in that one. As this one will be toward the right side corner. Picked up now. Hyman will wrap it around, try to center it out in front, but Hedman's right there. This is Conclavis now. He'll chip this one in, gets inside opposition over Bouchard, and brush this one in the corner. 8:25 left to go in the second. As this one's picked up here for Conclavis, trying to get it around Bouchard. Michael Easam out will work as Mosier keeps it in, and off the tie-up, Kucherov will send this one into the corner. He's mixed in the lines there and alongside with John Cooper. RNH has this in his own end as they'll get everyone squared away. I'm assuming the top, at least line 2 is going to come out here for Cooper's squad as this one will be sent back around the end boards. It is Victor Hedman's touch pass. Conclavis had a long shift. This one will be sent in here for Braden Point. Shot board is 23-13 Tampa. Again, they've owned this second period. Again, it's not just those goal scoring, but they're pushing the puck around. And Edmonton really hasn't had an answer, and that's not what you want to hear for a team like that. This one's sent in. As we recollected to the right side glass, too far for Podkolzin. Jake Getzel made the smart play. What a good signing that was in the offseason as Carolina couldn't hold on to him. And who knows? Depending on what happens with Mikko Rantanen, if he continues to struggle, maybe Carolina doesn't hold on to him, and that would be some big news. That probably wouldn't happen until the season is over. But I would still think the Red Wings are going to take a big swing at him. Even if it's just 80 points, you can still think you can get that far on a bet, even with Larkin and Raymond and DeBrincat. There's a lot of tools to score. As we settle back down for Skinner. Let's start this one again. So Edmonton and Kris Knoblauch squad in the midst of changes. 6:55 left to go in the second. John here with you on the call. It's a 3-1 lead for Tampa. McDavid on his backhand and kept in tight on the right post was Vasilevsky and will force the save. 6:51, a lot of speed there for number 97, as we see that all the time. And we'll give you the update. Hagel is 28th from Zemgus and Cirelli, and then Victor Hedman at 5:38 early, both from the period at 29 seconds, 5:38 from Point, and Kucherov the latest on the power play, as McDavid had to force the draw. 58 speed bursts of 22 miles an hour or more, second most in the NHL, but McKinnon's 65. That's a stat from ESPN, as the shot goes just wide. So McKinnon and McDavid have the elitist of speed. As McDonough, this one in the corner now, Zach Hyman trying to find it. But a bit more of the top line there is Hyman, McDavid, and Draisaitl down a couple of goals. Kris Knoblauch not messing around here. Brandon Hagel again beats two defenders to the puck. This one right out in front of that of Skinner, and Zemgus Girgensons pushed this one in the corner. This will be stopped by Skinner, back in behind his net now. But a couple times already in this period, we're seeing a chip and chase where three defenders are back for Edmonton, and Tampa's winning the puck battle. So this will go back around now for Evan Bouchard. Evan Bouchard will touch this one out for Victor Arvidsson, just away of the outstretch. And right toward the left side red line, Mitchell Chaffee. As this one pushed in the corner. Be taking a hit with Conclavis to try to make a play and mix with Nick Paul. Nick Paul was a good pickup from the Ottawa Senators several years ago as well when they got Hagel. Tampa's made a lot of great moves, and you can credit that to Julien Brisebois. Again, they run a lot like Vegas. They just make the smart moves. Again, Vegas, a lot more home runs back then, but I agree with Ian. They kind of learned from that. Although Thomas Hertl was a big move, and see if that works out. Vasilevsky couldn't clear it. He fanned on it, and a turnaround save from Corey Perry on Vasilevsky stops it there. 5:32 left in the second. That was a big one because that would have been a blunder on Tampa. We'll take a break. They're up by 2.
Amazing. Yeah. It was easy to pay off the low rates on the platinum card for maybe federal credit. Can't imagine where we'd be without them. I think you should. Yeah.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
Thursday, we're in the Steel City. The City Pride and the Penguins play host to Edmonton and the Flyers. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus and Hulu. Those two teams are going at it tonight. In Philadelphia, the Flyers lead 5.
So Thursday, and I know Ian already gave us the update, the Flyers have a 5-1 lead on the Penguins, but Thursday will be a ESPN Plus Hulu stream of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and maybe that game should be put on that because I don't know how many people are going to want to watch that, to be honest with you. What a beatdown.
Issues with the shot volume despite winning those games. But tonight, they're already up to 24. John Cooper and Genge should get near 40. Yeah, they should.
Being ozone draw when McDavid and behind the net. He tried to send this one on the left dot. Cirelli will flip this one down the ice. This will be a race for it now. And hybrid icing waved out. And man, oh man, back and behind the net's a crash for Iseman. He's been all over the score sheet, taking a couple hits. He scored the first goal. Shots are 24-15 for Tampa. They're up 3-1. Sent back around for Draisaitl. Again, Draisaitl and McDavid have been out there together since the start of the second period, being down a couple goals. McDavid toward the right side. McDavid now. Still trying to make an inside-out move, and he just leave it back for his defense. Right in toward the net, it's Evan Bouchard. He was pinched where McDavid was near the right dot. Now Connor behind the net. Bouchard in tight, saved by Vasilevsky. Will hold on to it near the left post. Again, making it look easy. 4:44 left to go in the second. So Zemgus Girgensons tied up with Ekholm, and the hit gets finished on the boards. At least Girgenson's able to brace himself there. Not have to worry about anything toward the right leg, because sometimes when you can't brace yourself, you might have a crunch or a bend that you don't want, but at least that one was at least clean for Ekholm. Longtime defender of the Nashville Predators. He was the pickup for Ken Holland before he retired. Another ozone draw. This one won by Tampa on the defense, and Jake Getsel. He's near the right side dot. Pass from 50 is a good one, as this will spring out Radish. He gets tied up with Kulak. Again, Tampa minus 900 on the money line right now. So they're thinking Tampa's going to take this one all the way home already. We know Edmonton could score, but I'm just not seeing much of a press in this second period. 16 shots, 8 per period is not enough against a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially when you got Vasilevsky with a .920 save percentage. Backhand in tight goes off the shoulder of Skinner. And now Jake in the high slot will get this one across, and alongside Radish, long shot, this one knocked away. Lilleberg is tied up out in front as a second effort gets knocked off of Troy Stecher. Lilleberg now will watch as Radish pushed up in the corner. Finished a hit as one of the Edmonton Oilers as Tampa tried to escape right to left on their own end. Here's Getsel. Getsel now, in between his legs, trying to stick this one ahead, and Draisaitl, a little one-handed tuck. Gets away from the defense. He carries it in. High slot now off the drop. Here's a long shot. Save Vasilevsky, trying to bank it off the backside. This will go off the outside of the mesh. Braden Point now get tied up with Draisaitl with Victor Hedman. And Hedman will think about it. Try to skate this one for Conclavis. He fanned on it for a moment. This bounces off the defense of Edmonton. And now Lilleberg. Draisaitl's got space. Sends the pass across. Probably should have shot that one as this goes to the right side corner. Edmonton just keeps it in. A rolling puck. Here's Nick Paul. He's sprung off the one-on-one against Darnell. Nurse shoots and fans on it for a moment to get his own rebound, though. Nick Paul trying to shovel it into the corner. Will get it right back near the right side red line. Lead for McDonough. As this one for Draisaitl, just shovel it into the corner. Tampa off a stick lift. Good reverse hit. Draisaitl on the edge of his ship. He'll slowly make his way to the bench. Here's McDonough now. He'll take an abbreviated time on it behind the net as well as everybody's in the midst of a change. You get some extended camera time. McDonough's pass from 150 picked off. Try to find Kucherov, and Edmonton gains the zone. Edmonton now, Connor Brown trying to get around McDonough. McDonough, 2:25 left to go in this second period. We'll chip this off the glasses. Here's Edmonton. Isamont, one-handed. He gets tied up with Bouchard. Now he's getting worked over by Ekholm. Isamont's getting the business here. Now Isamont trying to throw a few hands, and I don't blame him because he was getting roughed up big time. Little double team, and between Bouchard and Ekholm, that didn't really seem necessary. 2:18 left to go on the second. Let me get to this because I didn't mention this in the pregame, but as far as Tampa, again, this won't wow you as far as points. And for McDonough and Chernak, again, they got 19 and 15 on the season, 17 assists, 13 assists respectively. But McDonough and Chernak on the second line combined are a plus 56. McDonough is a plus 34. Chernak's a plus 22. You do not score on that second line of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Ian and I mentioned this a little bit earlier there as far as the possible rebuild that we thought that would happen. Well, again, you bring back McDonough in his second tour of duty when they won a couple of cups, and alongside the Bolts, you signed Jake Getsel to a long deal. You got Kucherov, Point, Hagel, who just continue to hum. Not a lot needs to be changed. Vasilevsky's number is back to second in NHL as far as save percentage at .920. Nothing's wrong with Tampa if they play like this. Yes, they're getting older, but all of your best players are playing their best, and sometimes it's really all you need to be said, and that's why Tampa is where they are. This will be an ozone draw. Won by Tampa. McDonough's shot gets deflected as being a little aerial cam. The Nurse's pass. You got Hyman with him. I think he's on sides. This will be toward the right side red line. And deflected right to the slot, right to Tampa. As Hagel try to leave it for Cirelli. He gets stick-lifted off a windmill. He got all turned around. And now Skinner will just get back into his goal crease. Got to be careful, though. Tampa is forcing the turnover. Edmonton very sloppy in front of Tampa right on the goal crease. This is tipped, saved by Skinner, bails his team out. So Skinner went to stop that about 15 seconds ago. He did. He had two defenders that were right next to each other, and Kulak and Emberson. They didn't know what to do with it. Hagel forced the steal, and a shot from the point got deflected, and Skinner made the save, but that was all unnecessary. Should have never happened. 1:45 left to go in the second. So Tampa's going to get another ozone draw. And John Cooper will continue to look on. I think he's got to be happy with the way that his team's played. Again, you have a coach of that caliber, you can always nitpick, but Tampa's really dominated the second period against Edmonton. They've made some careless mistakes in a time. I think they've looked lifeless because ozone time is 10:35 for Tampa and counting, just a 6:07 for Edmonton. And they're just doing not have a lot of shots. This is picked off. Here's Braden Point. Here from Kucherov. Point on his forehand. And so work his way to the right side. Dot takes a shot. This one will get deflected. Corey Perry can't get it out. This is stolen again. Getzel tried to find there and mix with Kucherov. And now Victor Hedman will get this one with a $1:15 left to go in the second. John, with you alongside Ian Genge. Appreciate Ian joining in as always. As Braden Point outstretched past Kucherov. Right out in front. Getzel gets robbed by Skinner. That was a big save there in the final minute. Off the backhand, off his left pad. Now start this one again for J.J. Moser. Big save. Keeps Edmonton within striking distance, only down 2. And Hedman, now for Moser. It's a very clean pass. Wide open entry to the right side. Dot long shot. Will hit the glass anyway. Conclavis off the pinch. See what he can do. It's a 2-on-2. Conclavis trying to win the battle. Bounces off the referee. Edmonton spin backhand Bouchard. Wafted for Podkolzin off the 1-on-2. But Sally will send this one. This will get knocked away. We'll pick it back up. 30 seconds left to go. Right at center ice at the Bolt logo. Bouchard. Late for McDavid. Inside out. Rister missed it all. This will be picked up here for Conclavis. Being knocked down. Here's a rolling puck. Picked up by Tampa. Little outstretch for McDonough. Will collect with 10 seconds left to go. Just stay onside, but Edmonton's in their own end. Bouchard. He's going to go for a seam pass. 4 seconds. Got to shoot it when they gain the entry. Tampa off the drop instead, and that ends the second period. Couple of goals to the good for Tampa, and they were unanswered. It's going to be goals for Hagel and Hedman. 29 seconds and 5:38 makes it a 3-1 lead for the Lightning as we go to the third period. Come right back. We'll call more.
With 28. After 40 minutes, Orban is 3-1 Bolts.
Yeah, it's a tale of two special teams with the Oilers in the West go. Power play on the first period, how great it is for the Oilers, but how the kill? They're perfect in the league right now. They're right around 74%, but really it's been lately. The last 7 games, they've given up power play each game, and on the first penalty every game, they get a goal. On the Discovery Second Commission report, we will hear from Victor Hedman and dissect his elite slap shot. That's coming up.
I'm going to take just a couple seconds away, and I'll be right back. I'll reset the second, and then we'll go across the scoreboard.
Because when you want a great brand, less weeds and fewer bugs. Now you can get a personal prescription delivered to you from Cultural Books and Ace. You get everything you need at our best price each season, guaranteed. From our store to your front door, your servicing bill is guaranteed.
I've got to get Marcus some new cleats. I bet you got a whole team new cleats with all that money you saved.
Nancy Dawson is passive progressive.
I mean, it's the picture really well.
Nancy doesn't have progressive, so she takes it out on those who do.
She can look at private coaching events. They really score a goal. I figured you want the whole world since you saved hundreds with progressive. Why didn't you take us 2 cleats?
Don't be passive progressive.
Progressive?
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
No.
Nobody likes a cracked windshield. But at least you can go to SafeLight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Can confirm. Very easy.
SafeLight can come to you for free. And our highly trained techs can replace your windshield right at your home.
SafeLight repairs, SafeLight replace.
Go to SafeLight.com and schedule a replacement today.
Glass force flex max strength bands with a 2 times stronger cuff. For over the top strength. It's better than all good. It's all glass. Consumer Reports was named the 2025 most reliable automotive brand. Subaru. It's no surprise they also named Subaru the best overall automotive brand. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months and makes it throughout faster in the Subaru with lots of love event going on now.
The best of college basketball every Saturday on ESPN. NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus. Burger King has a deal for all. $5 duo answers hunger's call. $7 trio more options for y'all. Which one will you choose? Happy day. Happy your way. Yeah. Welcome back to the Discover Second Edition Report. Only one
All right, sorry about that, everybody. I'm back. The Red Wings have scored a goal, and so has the Capitals. So again, the Capitals, let's see who's got that one. It is Alex Ovechkin, his 30th in the power play. There was a time when Alex Ovechkin a couple of seasons ago struggled to score goals, but it looks like that's all gone. John Carlson and Dylan Strome get the assists on his 30th. I will say this, at least for Jacob Chychrun. I do think they got to find a way to get him a really good extension because he's played his best hockey as a member of the Caps. And Spencer Carberry is one of the very best coaches. I know Logan Thompson can figure out some things. Like he's been the greatest goaltender in the world this year, but Spencer Carberry got this team in the playoffs last year when they had no business making it. And I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time if they continue to play that way. So Boston had a 3-0 lead, and they don't anymore. It's 3-3. My goodness. So it was 3-0 Bees, Pasta, Marchand, Geeky on the power play. 10 minutes in the second, then it's all Leafs after. Morgan Riley, Mitch Marner, and Nick Robertson. Jeremy Swayman, 18 of 21. Stolars, 28 of 25 as Tampa's fought all the way back. The Ducks had a 2-0 lead, and the Sabres scored 2 straight. John Joseph Paterka and Alex Tuck both unassisted. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 12 of 14, and Lucas Stolstall, 25 of 27, as the Sabres are going to try to get this win over the Ducks. Hurricanes still get lambasted at home, on the road, 4-0. That's the Bell Center. Montreal's got a 4-0 lead, and the Flyers, yikes, score again. So it is now Forrester, Cates, Brink, and Tippett. Cates already has 2. Samuel Larson, 20 of 21. Nedeljkovic on the hook for all of them. 31 of 37. Blue Jackets, 5-3 at home against the Stars. Your latest JVR from Sean Corrali. Whereas Leakin's just 19 of 16, and Jake Ottinger is giving up 5. Uncharacteristic for him, but very good offense. And the Blues, well, this game's done. The St. Louis Blues at Enterprise have a 5-0 lead over the Kraken. It's Kyrou and Sundqvist from the first, which Ian already told you, but Robert Thomas, Zach Bolduc, Cam Fowler, Jordan Binnington, just 15 of 15, and Joey Decord is the one who gave up 5. That is a surprise because Decord has had a good year. The Kraken have not so much. You don't see that happening. Oh boy, I got to flip it back. the Red Wings were down 2-0. They have scored twice. Let me take a look at that. And thankfully, I think this game, unless we need overtime, will be done before the Red Wings game. So I think as long as that stays close, I will probably cover both of those. But the Red Wings have tied it up. 6:30 left to go in the second. They really need to get as many wins as they can because you have that back-to-back. And alongside Columbus, it is Vlad Tarasenko, who is going to be trade deadline shopping with Gustafsson and Kasper, and then Edmondson from DeBrincat. Gustafsson 10 of 12, same for Talbot. 2 unanswered goals for the Wings, 3 minutes apart, 10-12 and 13-12. I don't want to be selfish. I would say a point would be even big, but you really need 2 because Tampa looks like they're going to get 2 against Edmonton unless we see a switch. I know McDavid and Draisaitl can do it, but that's been a bad game so far for Edmonton. It's been fun to watch. I'm not going to lie to you there, but if Calgary wins this one today, they will have WC2. Vancouver is off tonight. Vancouver's lost the last couple of games, so we'll keep an eye on that Flames cap score. Flames have a 2-1 lead, 11:22 in the third. That'd be a huge win for them. Hey, if I'm not getting the Red Wings here, at least I have time to even look at the Flames. Wonder if this one's on NHL Network. There we go. Just for a couple minutes, just to take a look at this. So Sharangovich sets this one up, and we'll go up and out of play. I'm going to get Ian back in here. So 10:45 officially left to go in the third. Again, they're showing Charlie Lindgren on the back end. I'm taking a live look in here. One timer from Rasmus Anderson at 94 miles an hour. Goes up and on a play off of Thompson, and we'll get a stoppage. So Logan Thompson has sustained a little bit of a right leg injury, but he is staying in the game to give Charlie Lindgren the day off, is what Sportsnet is just saying as soon as I've checked back into their live coverage. Calgary's still up 2-1. Ovechkin scored the latest, as it's about 10 minutes left to go here in the third. I won't try to get into play-by-play too much because still got a third period to cover on the other side. Tomorrow will be some time with the misses. Thursday should be Red Wings and Blue Jackets, and then I'll have the doubleheader with the Sharks on Saturday and Sunday in the battle for first place. And yes, I will have both games on Saturday and Sunday. There won't be any weather situations. So I will be getting double dipped, which will be fun. Just 19 shots for both teams. Jacob Chychrun at the point and Dan Vladar able to make a glove save. No Dustin Wolf today. Andrew Mangiapane, former Flame, will try to send this one on in front, and Chychrun will hold in. Mangiapane give back, shot this one, saved up and on a play off the stick of Vladar. So Andrew Mangiapane know he want to score against his former team. They'll take a break in Washington. Dan Vladar, he needs to have a good game. He hasn't had a great season. Then off the double deflection, rolling puck, they'll take a break. We'll flip back in there in our featured game and see if they're any closer to puck drop. So this is good timing for me because it's going to show the Red Wings goals. That's what I wanted to see. This one will be from Edmonton. So DeBrincat going to set this one up in the high slot and just slammed in the back of the net at 91 miles an hour for a slap shot. Red Wings have come back to tie it. It's 2-2 with 5:15 left to go in the second. And 3 unanswered goals on both sides for both the Bruins and the Leafs. That's a nasty goal for Mitch Marner. On his back skate, he just walks in and snipes the thing toward the right side dot. The patience, and then Nick Robertson off the breakaway pass. He roops it to make it 3-3. Pasternak will walk into the left side dot and force a steal on these highlights. He's got 2. Again, 3-3. The Bruins need a lot of goals, and they need a lot of points. Speaking of a lot of goals, let me give you another update. I already just reset it there for the Blues. They scored again. It is 6-0 for the St. Louis Blues. And Joy Decord was finally taken out. Nicholas Coco, who was the Finnish netminder of WJC's last year. Again, he's just turned 20. Again, that's a U20 tournament. I covered him for Team Finland last year. He's getting a start, and I think this might be his very first. He's already given up 1. He's 6'3", 184 pounds. Jake Neighbors has the latest from Fowler and Pareko. It's 6-0 St. Louis. Let me say this honestly. I know Cooper's not here, but I know we've had conversations with that as well. For Seattle, they made the playoffs the year before, and they got that surprising series win over the Colorado Avalanche. That was a lot of fun to call. They played very well. You know, they lost Daniel Sprong, Ryan Donato, Carson Soucy, some of the other guys in their depth, right, that you would expect to do damage for them because they were a good team all the way up and down the board as far as, you know, lines 1 through 4 of scoring. They're pretty good. But now you make some of those changes, you don't bring them back. I don't think that Dan Bylsma and Jessica Campbell and that coaching staff are bad, but I will say that I think firing Dave Hextall and making some of those moves seemed a little bit knee-jerk for me. Because for Dan Bylsma, he was a great coach when he had guys like Crosby, Malkin, and Letang in their prime. When you don't have those guys, you're not as good of a coach. I know that's the easiest thing to say in the world, but I don't think he was the right one for the job. I think you should have got somebody that had. It's hard for me to say Spencer Carberry because he came out of nowhere, but it worked out for Washington. Just to find something else that would work. Todd McClellan was available for a long damn time until the Red Wings swiped him up. So that's my call there. I know that's not the only thing, but Seattle, a little bit disappointing of a year, and I think they need to bounce back pretty quickly to get closer to the playoff. Well, they can't be this bad from where they are. Yes, the long-term plan is good. Shane Wright, Matty Beniers, some of the other ones they have, Riker Evans on the defensive end is very good as a young player, but they got to be much better next year, and they got to figure it out because I do think if they continue to struggle the next 2-3 years, I do think Bylsma and Campbell are going to have a short leash. That's my opinion. I know I've said it before, but I don't think they're going to let them hang around for a whole bunch of time when they were doing well with the Coachella Valley Firebirds and not so much with the Seattle Kraken.
It's the Maker Insurance card, and we'll take care of the rest.
The Blues have scored a 6th goal, John.
I just profiled that, Ian. I mean, your eyes have got to be, you probably had to do a double take. And that's 5 of those goals on Joey Decord, who's been one of the only Seattle players that have had a really good year, as far as everything else in net. But you scored 5 on Decord, you're doing something right. That's a big, big W for the St. Louis Blues.
This is the part where I start drinking in the false hope that we might make the playoffs.
Hey, when you get a 6-goal game, I would do the same thing.
The fact that we beat the Avalanche 3-1.
Yeah.
There's also that.
It's got to show you, and I know this isn't the most enlightening taking, and it's got to show you that it's there. It's there for St. Louis to tap into something. I know the Avalanche one is bigger, and I agree with you there, but you score 6 on anybody, I don't care who it is. There's something to feel good about, and for Seattle, at least there's no way. I would think even at best for Seattle, they're a good third period team. They might be able to score 3 times, but that's still only halfway to the point. I don't think they're going to do that anyway. So I got the notes all typed in. I almost forgot to give you the ones for this one. 28-19 shots on goal, 23-12 hits for Edmonton, and faceoffs 20-15 for the Bolts. As it's 3-1. Again, no goals scored for Edmonton in that second period. You had a couple for Brandon Hagel and Victor Hedman on the power play, as we'll get into the play-by-play. So McDonough, this one goes in off the glass now. Chernak will send this one down the ice. It'll be blown dead against Edmonton. McDonough will win the race. You're in Anomaly Arena watching this one on ESPN Plus, Hulu, Disney, whatever you want to call it there in the mix. This is the stream-only game, so this will not be on any national TV local side. Watching this one, it's a 3-1 lead for Tampa. They really controlled that second period, and it wasn't even just the goals that they scored. I just didn't see much pushback for Edmonton. McDavid's going to stay out there on the D-zone draw. He can't win it, though. This one will go D-to-D. And now to the right says we get an aerial camera. This one will go too far for Sorelli. And now Edmonton can use this as a full sail clear of sorts. Now for a chance for Hyman. This one goes off the shoulder of Vasilevsky and McDavid with him, but Zach took the shot and some save was made. Again, Zach Hyman had a ridiculous amount of goals last year, does not have that this year. He was kind of the merchant out in front of the net, scoring some of those goals. It had not gone this way. He's been more of a bottom 6 forward this year. It's Chernak. We'll take a knuckle puck. Right to center ice for Kucherov. Drop for Jake Getzel off the sauce. This one deflected. Leon Draisaitl will try to get the steal. Edmonton needs the answer. His Vedsali Podkolzin drop for Leon. This one be tipped for Nurse. That one goes wide. There's a slapper one-timer get deflected in the corner, and J.J. Moser gets hit big toward the right side of the red line, but he stayed on his feet in Tampa and try to get this one left to right. Victor Hedman long outstretch. This one will be not offside, supposedly, for Tampa, but this will be Edmonton's puck anyway. Darnell Nurse will just gain the red line, and this one will get the benefit of the doubt. I think that's the right call for John Bouchard, as Victor Hedman will send this around. This one will go D-to-D. And be Michael Eyssimont will open the scoring. He blows a tire, still makes the drop pass back in behind Eyssimont off the spin and turn to shovel it toward the net. This one goes wide to the right of the post of Stuart Skinner from Zemgus Girgensons. Eyssimont now with it on his forehand. This does not find Nick Perbitz. Ekholm off the tie, and this will be knocked away. Picked up here across for Edmonton, and they'll gain the left side red line. He's sent in now for Nick Perbix, turns it over for a moment. 17:35 left to go in the second shuffle. It is 28-20. So Edmonton had a couple of chances here early in this third. It's still a 2-goal lead for Tampa. Now toward the left side red line. RNH try to pry it loose. It's Mattias Janmark, Girgensson, everybody tied up near the left side red line. They'll go D-to-D. Here is Ekholm. Now a long shot. This will be shoveled aside by Vasilevsky into the corner. Hyman on the retrieval. This will be knocked away. Picked up in the high slot off the backhand. This will be Connor Brown. Sitter for Ekholm. There's a slapper. Goes into the right side boards. Edmonton trying to keep this one in. Nick Perbix on the long end of his shift. Now with Glendening. He loses it in between his legs, and now Luke gets the steal. This will be shoveled and wafted back down. Tampa needs a change, and they're going to go ahead and make it quickly. Edmonton will do the same. So Both teams will get the benefit of the doubt. 16:39 left to go in the third. It's a 3-1 lead for Tampa. Chip in off the glass, and this will be iced against Edmonton. Andre Vasilevsky going to get some camera shots, and when he's on the stand-up, I ask you this, as many people have tried to ask all across the years, what exactly do you shoot at? Because he covers everything in the net.
Just shoot it how you get lucky.
That's really all you can do, Ian, and sometimes that's how I feel about Vasilevsky. That's how good he is. Again, second in the NHL, the .920 save percentages. Vasilevsky got some time, and Ian said it right. Just shoot and hope you get lucky. Try to get some consistent chance. That's all you can do. Radish. Now we'll get this one right up the gut. Picked up now for Nick Paul as he gains the zone and send this one around the inboards. Conclavis off the pinch. It's a rolling puck now, and Corey Perry able to get the steal. 16:05 left to go in the third. It's Kulak off the chip and chase. This will be Victor Hedman off the pin, and now Tampa will try to chip this off the glass. Too far from Conclavis. Sent back down the ice. Not blown dead. Stuart Skinner played it anyway. We'll start this one again. Connor McDavid, end to end. Works his way to left side red line. Finds it in now to the right side boards of the offensive end. It took about 2 seconds. Connor McDavid will flip this toward Vasilevsky behind the net. He was doing that intentionally to get a draw. Vas saw it, and we'll get a stoppage with 15:42 in the third. So, end of the second, the Red Wings have come back to tie it. It's 2-2. The Flames still have a 2-1 lead on the Caps. They scored 2 in the first, and they're desperately trying to hold it. We'll give you the updates as they come. 158 blocker saves, fourth most in the NHL. I guess that's telling you where most teams try to aim, but Vasilevsky makes it look easy, as he usually does, the Russian netminder. Again, part of Four Nations, you don't get to see Kucherov or Vasilevsky, but Vasilevsky, as long in the tooth as he is, he's still one of the very best. He's been very durable as well. Again, Steve Yzerman was one of those ones that drafted him before Julian Breezewalt took over. He didn't win the cup under Yzerman, but all of his players he drafted pretty much. And again, he got him in the first round, which is a steal at any point. Here is a loose puck that will be knocked away. McDonough had it lost in between his skates, and now Hagel with the second effort will flip this one down the ice for Darnell Nurse. Start again. Nurse lofted pass, and alongside from Evan Bouchard as they mix that 5 third period comebacks, all 1-goal comebacks, but it's 2 right now. 15:05 left to go in the third as you got to start on their own end. Connor McDavid, little dipsy doodle, trying to find some space to the left side down. We'll drop it back here for Darnell. Take this one from Troy Stetcher, and Nurse will shovel it in the corner. Connor McDavid. That can be on for Arvidsson turnaround shot, and he missed it all off the wraparound. Vasilevsky was near the left post. Arvidsson went top right corner. He airmailed it right in front of the net as it goes up into the netting. 14:53 in the third. Shot board 28-22 in favor of Tampa as well. They're up by 2. I'm Lee Arena. John Under with you on the call alongside Ian Genge. They're showing Pacific Division standings. Edmonton 2 points out. Vegas will have a game in hand, especially now if Edmonton doesn't win tonight. This will be Victor Hedman now for Kucherov, and this will be picked up by Nikita. Now Jake Getzel. Send this one down and then around the horn. Kucherov will let it go and around the end boards, and J.J. Moser will pinch it in deep. Couldn't find Getzel there, as this will be shoveled ahead. Moser on the back skate will just lurk as this pass ahead finds Nikita Kucherov. Little toe drag around Ekholm, but nothing doing, as Mattias will get pushed in the corner from Braden Point. And good work from Draisaitl to be able to send this one in. Again, McDavid and Draisaitl, all these defenders do is back up just to make sure that they give themselves some speed, because when they get a blow-by, it's all over. So they will give you a chance to get some entries, but you got to do something with it afterwards. It's not been the second step to be completed. Michael Eyssimont in toward the right side boards. As Bouchard, now Eyssimont falling down again, trying to make a play. He's been all over the score sheet as far as taking hits, giving hits, and just giving out all-out effort. He's just lost a couple of edges on the skate plate. Little back pick there from Lilleberg on Janmark. And now we'll start this one again from Nick Perbix. You're a little bit of trouble there. Pervic's able to get the second effort and get this one outside the neutral ice. 13:30 left to go in the third. Tampa still up by 2. And Michael Eyssimont forced the steal on Evan Bouchard. This is the third time it's been almost a catastrophic giveaway. Again, Bouchard is a defenseman in name only. He's not as bad as John Klingberg, but he's had a rough night as his team's down by 2. This will be sent back down for Darnell Nurse. And now start again for Connor Brown. Connor Brown will slow this one back on his own end, take a half spin. Forward still trying to get a change. Kucherov was the lone forechecker. Here's an opportunity for Victor Arvidsson. Will shovel this one in the corner. Chip and chase has not worked for Edmonton in this game. Every time they try to do so, even off 1-on-3s, Tampa will still win the puck. And that's the way it's been today. He's sent around now for Kucherov. He'll make a blind back pass to Jake Getsel. Got Paul with them at the net. This is tempting to score. What a beautiful breakout from Kucherov. Right to Getsel. Paul will finish it. And this one's probably murder, she wrote. A little Angela Lansbury. 4-1 is the score. Tampa, they have been dominating this game. It really was a 150-foot breakout pass from Kucherov right to Getsel and then Paul. And this is a blind back pass that starts in their own end between the legs of one of the Edmonton defenders, goes all the way near the right side boards in the offensive end, and then tipped out of the air from Paul. A little one-handed stick reach. Scores on Skinner past RNH. That's a huge goal for Edmonton. Or that's a huge goal for Tampa. That's a really pretty one. Let me get those notes in really quickly. We'll get back into the play-by-play. But holy cow, what a pass by Kucherov in his own end. As we get an icing. So this one's going to be easy as far as the story, but as far as the point totals, that one was all right there from the call. Kucherov and Getsel, secondary assist for Kucherov. Getsel with the pass across up the behind the, pretty much no look all the way down the ice from Kucherov near the right boards. Finds Paul off the rush. Now that's just a thing of beauty. Getsel going to get his first point. Kucherov going to get his second. I know I didn't get any answers on the question as far as what I posed. I said, as of right now, like today, who do you think is more likely? Again, this is just a question. I'm not saying that they're going to win a Stanley Cup, but it's the way I phrased it. Who do you think is better equipped right now to win the Stanley Cup as constructed, Tampa Bay or Edmonton? And it's not just this game, but when I posed the question, I was thinking Tampa Bay all the way. The way that they're playing right now, they look really good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, with just a few seconds, with just under a minute left, the Maple Leafs have tied it up. Or no, with just under, what is that? Yeah, with just under a minute left, the Maple Leafs have tied it 4-4.
They were down 3-0.
Yep. Tying goal scored by Pontus Holmberg. Who?
I don't think, Ian, I don't mean to laugh, but we didn't have Pontus Holmberg on our bingo cards. The defenseman doesn't score very often. So 12 minutes left to go in the third. I'm following this score as well. Again, a good update there from Ian alongside, but I'm following the Flames here just to see if they get this one in the final 25 seconds, they do score another one. I'm assuming an empty netter. No, it's not. So it's Jonathan Huberdeau with his 22nd from Nazem Kadri, his 23rd assist at 15:23, and the Flames are up 3-1 with 25 seconds left. That would be a huge 2 points for Calgary. Again, their schedule is absolutely brutal, and I probably should have covered them tonight, all things considered. I usually do. I will cover them next week, Thursday, against the Dallas Stars. That might be an automatic cakewalk for Dallas, considering the Flames will be on the edge of a long road stand, but I did not expect this result. I'm sure the Flames fans didn't. We'll see if that one holds. I'll give you the update once it goes final. So 11:52 left to go in the third. It's a 4-1 lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they have played just a brilliant game. I mean, the second period, they shut down Edmonton completely. Again, the only goal was a power play one for Leon Draisaitl. Other than that, Edmonton has looked pretty suspect, and I say that with a team as good as they are. We know what they are in the regular season. Blue Jackets win 6-4 against the Stars. It's going to set up a big grudge match on Thursday against the Red Wings. I'm still planning on covering that one, as this was into the right side boards. This will be knocked away. Glendening try to force the steal as we're almost halfway through this third. And it looks like the Flames game has gone final. They take a big 2 points against the Caps. They win 3-1 on the road. They are in control of WC2 after tonight. So big win for them. St. Louis Blues already have a big win, but they still got 20 more minutes to play as it's 6-0. Again, I'm getting the update from Ian now in real time as Pontus Holmberg gets a gorgeous pass in behind the net from Nick Robertson. I could have scored that one as it's 4-4.
Yeah. So another thing, the Blackhawks, though it's only the first period, they've taken a 1-0 lead on the Utah Hockey Club. Why is that important? Because Utah, along with the rest of those up there in the West,
Yes.
are scratching and clawing for wins by any means necessary. I call it hyperbolic, John, but if they lose to the Blackhawks here, they can pretty much kiss those playoff teams goodbye.
You're not wrong, Ian, and I don't think it's hyperbolic. I agree with you completely. You cannot drop games like that. I mean, look at what the Wings, I'll say this. You only play them twice because you're on opposite sides of the conference. It's 4 points, but the Red Wings lost 4 points to the San Jose Sharks this year. So when you lose games like that, that really hurts you. This one takes a funny hop off the inboards. Jeff Skinner gets robbed 3 times by Vasilevsky with the left pad. He cannot lift it over the left pad of the Big Cat, and it still sits 4-1. That was the best chance Edmonton had. A little bit lucky there off a slap shot miss for Matt Savoie. 4 games, no goals, 1 assist. He got robbed 3 times.
So, John, when this game concludes, will you be signing off, or are we taking a trip over to the Red Wing Empire?
I'm going to take a trip over to the Red Wing Empire, if you don't mind, as long as the game is close, because I think we'll be able to finish this one before that.
Absolutely.
So 10:20 left to go here in the third. It's McDavid. He tried to split through a triple team, and this one will be picked up now for Anthony Cirelli. Now for Draisaitl. Wrister tip by McDavid. It goes off his skates. Try to set this one back up here for McDavid, and this will be held by Vasilevsky in behind the net. As we continue to follow along between Tampa and Edmonton, and again, I just have to say it this way, I'm so impressed with what Tampa has done defensively against this team. That is not a surprise. When we talked about McDonough and Chernak, a plus 56 and behind them. Victor Hedman continues to get older. He's paired in alongside, Perbix, Radish, Emerson, Lilleberg. But John Cooper is getting it done, and all their best forwards are playing their best players. But the biggest one for me, again, alongside Brandon Hagel, I've said that for years, but getting Jake Getzel signed to that long-term deal for the Bolts is such a slam dunk win. Don't know how they were able to get that way, but they did. You get McDonough back, and this team just looks really good. Chance out in front, turnaround save for Skinner. He's on the seat of his pants. And we'll see now with Chernak. Point. Send this one toward the point. Picked up now by Braden. Little inside-out move toward the right side boards. Try to leave it for Chernak, but there was too much congestion there. Have to pull back anyway. It's a 4-1 lead. Nick Paul with the only goal of the third as Tampa's comfortably up ahead. We'll pull this back up on the roster side, but I just want to take a quick look at the top where the Wings are as it's still in the end of the second. 9:20 left to go in this third, so we'll probably be able to get about half of the Wings game. And I'm hoping at least they get one. If you can get at least 1 point against Minnesota off the 2 meetings, considering what Columbus did today, you probably want to get 2, but I don't want to be selfish because they were down 2-0 and they're missing some people. Now point in toward the right side boards. This one go D to D. This will be shoveled ahead. Kucherov was just kind of cherry picking, as this will go the other way now for Victor Arvidsson off his half skate. This one will be sent back down off the spin, and Kulak will start this one again. 8:45 left to go in the third. John here with you alongside Ian Genge. We're watching this one on Amalie Arena, a little ESPN Plus Hulu Disney only stream here in between 2 high-offensive scoring teams. And I only saw this one-sided right now as Tampa's taking control of that second. They had an extra in the third, but they've been impressive in the way that they've done it. All the goals have been world-class. Nick Paul trying to get this one alongside the right boards. He didn't give up on the play as Edmondson Lilleberg was a little bit of a pinch. And RNH will get this out of his own end. This will not be ice, says the referee, as Radish take a look behind him. We'll try to ride this one on the backhand against the boards to buy some space. And a little loud stretch there for Nick Paul. Nick Paul tried to give a chase against Mattias Ekholm as we got 8 minutes left to go in the third. Start this one again up a long stretch pass from Stetcher. Try to find Connor Brown. Mitchell Chafee steals. Michael Isamont off the push. And this will be recollected back by the Bolts. Shots this period are 5-2 in favor of Edmonton. But that doesn't matter right now considering where Tampa is. They just got to be smart and not give up any easy breaks. Jake Getzel gets his own chase. Now toward the high side turnaround shot. This will be saved off Glendening and Skinner. This one called the glove hand. 7:34 in the third. We will step aside for a moment. Kucherov might have grazed the face of Draisaitl as we go to break. That was not cold.
So, hey, John, I have
Yes.
a personal question, but I've heard you mention it. I've heard you mention it multiple times before. So how long have you been married?
Just engaged. I don't know if her and I are going to get married, but it's been about 3.5 years. I think I'm just enjoying that side of it, Ian. I mean, she deals with some stuff. She's got depression and all that. I got cerebral palsy. The work situation is okay for both of us, but I don't know if extravagant life is in the cards for both of us. But I just left it like that because I've been with her since I was 21 and she was 18, and now I'm about almost to turn 37. So it's been about 15 years. So I try. I mean, things are good, and I don't want to rock the boat too much. I think her and I will be okay when something happens with her parents or my parents because we're both living at home and all that. But we'll have enough money to be able to live and all that stuff when the time comes. I hope that it's sooner rather than later, but it is what it is. I know things could be different for everybody, but we're happy, so that's what's important.
Exactly. You're a lot smarter than a lot of other men, I'll tell you that.
I try. I mean, some people say that maybe I shouldn't even try with the engagement thing, but you know what? When you really care about somebody and you spend that much time together, I mean, that's something that I think that you deserve, just to show that even if you're not officially married, being in a relationship and caring about somebody is important. So. No, I appreciate the question, Ian. I'm not afraid to indulge anything in the personal life. I'm a pretty open book. I'm a pretty truthful guy. I try to be good to people, and I really enjoy talking with you and Alec and Cooper and everyone else and doing this stuff. It's been a lot of fun. It's the one good thing, at least for me. I don't get a chance to get out as much as I want to, but getting a chance to talk to you and do these games and try to be vocal and do all that stuff too. It's also good for your mind. You don't want to spend too much time by yourself.
Exactly.
So 7:25 left to go here in the third. Again, we'll have one more assignment on Thursday. I'm thinking Red Wings and Blue Jackets. I really don't want to shy away from them. I'm a little nervous for that one, but I do have the Sharks doubleheader Saturday and Sunday, so I will be busy on that end. And then we'll get stuff settled for next week as soon as I can get that squared away. Conclavis. Now we'll spin and toward the right side boards. It's Nick Paul. Ekholm takes a hit to try to make a play. 7 minutes left to go in the third. Edmonton needs about a goal in every 2 minutes, and they have about 6:55 left to do so as this one goes into the players' bench. So if Tampa wins this, this will be 6 straight, and if Edmonton loses this, this will be 4 straight. I know if I asked Ian right now if you're worried about Edmonton, I think we both say no, because they are 8 points ahead in a playoff spot. But when you have Florida and Carolina also on this road stand, you need to show out much better than this.
I don't have any doubts they make it to the playoffs, but obviously I feel like that in terms of playoff contenders, they are a paper tiger.
Yeah.
Whatever they had going for them last season, they don't have. Well, number one, they don't have another 50-goal scorer on their main line, a la Zach Hyman.
Right.
So that right there. Plus, once again, they don't have a defense.
No.
Actually, you know what? If I'm being real, I don't think the Blues are going anywhere. Hey, St. Louis, call up Edmonton and see what they'll give up for Colton Parayko. And if they say anything other than a first or a high second, hang up the phone. But call them up.
I don't think that's a bad idea, and I think you're right on the right track. Here is Cirelli on the backhand. I'll try to shovel this one ahead. No, that's absolutely right, because I think that they could definitely use it. And you nailed it on the head as far as the PK, because we've known about that for years. Last year, whatever they had, it was the Magic in the playoffs where they gave up, 2 goals? They had like a 95% penalty kill or better in the playoffs. I mean, that's gone. And now they're 27th out of 32. Their power play is not number 1, although it's top 7. So that hasn't changed much. But the penalty kill has been much, much worse. And your point to Zach Hyman is a good one, because it's the same player, but he's got about 35 less goals. So that kind of changes things as well. Now in toward the right side form, again, Bouchard is mentioning for Tampa, are they returning their championship form? That is a question to wonder. I don't think I would mind watching the Tampa Bay Lightning in the playoffs again, because they're just so damn entertaining on both sides of the ice, and then they have the elite goaltender that we know about. Here is the bounce that'll be recollected here for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 5:15 up to go here in the third. It's Vasily Podkolzin on the second line. And again, Edmonton is another one of those, and I know Ian would agree with this, but they just don't have a lot of depth on the offensive side. You got your top guys, you pay them a lot, and I get that. Salary cap's going to go up, which will help them. But it's always a 2-3 man team. That's what we know. And we know that they're going to make the playoffs, as Ian mentioned, but I think their ceiling's probably 2 rounds, which would be good for a lot of teams, but I'm sure McDavid's getting tired of that. The only cup that he's won right now is the Four Nations side. You definitely want more than that, as this is sent now for Moser and now for Lilleberg. He'll spin and turn in his own end. 4:30 left. It is just 1 goal in the third for Nicholas Paul off a beautiful back pass from Kucherov in his own end, set up by Getzel, and then a one-handed touch. Toward the right side boards, it's Tampa with the puck. High slot now, Isamont. Spin, turn, and shoot. Another game where Skinner has given up at least 4 goals or more. Edmonton's been getting bloodbath on the defensive end, but 4 goals, 5 goals each time in the last 4 games. They've just not looked good defensively. And now they're not doing anything offensively in this game. Ekholm. Now McDavid. Trying to find his way through center ice. Leaves it for Draisaitl. Now McDavid off the spin and turn, and it's thefted away. Here for Eric Chernak. Chernak now will loft this ahead over the dome of Victor Hedman. Hard to miss all 6-7 of him. Cirelli, Hagel. This is a good stick in the lane for Ekholm. Will knock this out of play. He would have been wide open to shoot there. As we will take one more break. 3:39 left in the third, and then we'll close it out. But we think we already know who the winner is going to be.
Check-in time is 3. It's 2:55. I know.
Is this what he's doing now?
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa.
7-0 Blues, by the way. Zach Bolduc with his second.
Ian, let me ask you this. Is there ever a point where you call off the dogs or you just keep it going?
For St. Louis's sake, considering they haven't had a game like this all season, let the big dogs eat. Just let them go. You keep shooting if the puck keeps going in the net. Just keep going.
I'm with you 100%. That's exactly what I would say too. I agree with you. The Maple Leafs. Go ahead.
While we were talking, the Maple Leafs win in OT 5-4. I didn't see who scored the winning goal for them.
It was Mitchell Marner, his 18th, 4:08 in the OT from Matthews and Riley. The Leafs were down 3-0. They found a way to get 2 points. They win 5-4. That's a crusher for the Boston Bruins. My goodness. And we can say this. I know that there's still time. It's not tons of time, but there's still time. Boston Bruins keep losing games like that, and you're going to find yourself out of the playoffs. They're only 2 points out right now, but they do not have games in hand of anyone. And I didn't know this, but I'm looking at this officially now as it's updated. Their goal differential for the Bees is -27.
When was the last time it was that low?
I would have to guess in probably you're going probably about 20 some years ago, you would have to think, because the Bruins have been pretty good for a long time.
So we're talking before Marshall, before Krejci, that's before 2011.
Are we thinking? If I remember correctly, Joe Thornton was a member of the Boston Bruins very early. So I don't know if that was like a good team or a rebuilding team, but yeah, that's how far we're going back. That's my guess. That's without looking up anything. That's a long time to ever see a defense that bad. But again, they don't have Linus Ullmark anymore, and Jeremy Swayman gave up 5. So that's not a good look for him. This will be sent back in. I'll get about 2:50 of play-by-play time, and I'll switch back over to the wing wheel. Selfishly, I have to do it. Hopefully the score stays close enough, as this will be still 2-2 with 13:52 in the third, so they'll be catch this one about halfway. This will be. Go ahead.
While you're finishing up the Lightning and the Oilers, I've been keeping track.
Well, I appreciate you, Ian, on that side. I'm hoping that it stays close enough because I just want to see the Wings get some points, because Columbus has taken 2, and as it's updated, Columbus now in the second wild card spot because the Wings have a game in hand, and the Wings need points. So Ottawa now would be officially out as of today. But again, it's only 2 points. But that just tells you how tight it is. That's going to make that Thursday matchup very interesting. That's why I wanted to cover it. Down to the final 2 minutes, McDavid gets shelled out in front, and Cirelli will get this one down the ice, and we will get a penalty hand in the air. This should be on the Bolts, I believe, with a 4-1 scoreline. And a cross-check is the call. Excuse me, that is on Draisaitl. So he's got the only goal, and Draisaitl has 2 penalties, so that's probably not his best game. And with 1:53 left to go in the third, Tampa does not have to press at all. They can just kind of hand grenade this back and forth as much as they want to. But 2 penalties against Draisaitl with the power play goal. And Chernak gives him the business in the corner, and a blatant cross check right in the back of the numbers, right in front of the Zebras, which you can't do. So Ekholm will send this one down off the full snow clear. Tampa's going to win this one comfortably, and Edmonton is going to drop 4 games in a row. Tampa's going to win 6 in a row, and they looked really good tonight in doing so. And that is always something that I like to watch. I like teams impressively handling their business, especially when you got top teams like these. Getzel walks in, shoots, he missed. And now Hagel will start this one near the right side. Hagel off the tie-up will be spin back around for Getzel. As this goes into the corner, 1:20 left to go. And Tampa's power play, they don't even need any goals here. This is just practice. Braden Point will one-time it. This one was contested, but he hit the glass. Kept in. Kucherov near the right dot. Here's a slide off the sauce pass. It'll be recollected for Hagel. Finds Kucherov. This will be tipped just wide of the left pad of Skinner. It's 34-24 on the shot board. Hedman, high slot. Kucherov with the bolt on the right side of the leg. Back for Getzel. Good pass, Hagel. And Skinner was out of the goal crease. Here's Hedman. Does not shoot. Back to Hagel. Kucherov, slot pass point. That one saved with the left pad of Skinner. And this power play is looking pretty saucy as this goes back down the ice. The puck movement has been tremendous. 30 seconds left to go in the third as the crowd rises to their feet and gives some cheers at Amelie. Why not? They were excellent. There's Anthony Cirelli off the drop. It's Conclavis. He'll backhand it towards Skinner. He'll play it. 15 seconds left to go in the third. Full sail clear. Back to Vasilevsky. And Vasilevsky will just watch. And so will Radish. That is going to end this one. Tampa's going to win 4-1 as the crowd rises to their feet. A demolition of the Edmonton Oilers on home ice and their longest streak since 2021. They've won 6 in a row. Edmonton's dropped to 4 in a row. It's a 4-1 win for the Bolts.
And Seattle has scored a goal. It is now 7-1. There will be no shutout, unfortunately.
No, there will be no shutout. And Ian, as I said, they're a good third period team. They can score, but they're not going to score enough. And shouldn't have to breathe too much worry here. I think you'll be just fine. I'm going to pull the back up now to the wings. We are almost halfway expired, and we're almost with 10:40 left in next goal wins territory. We'll see what we get. And hopefully I can say that name right when I look at it, because it said Marat Krushtadinov got his shot blocked by Moritz Seider. I think I got that one right. Krushtadinov. That's a tough one. I don't envy anyone that has to do that.
Oh, by the way, that goal scored by Chicago to take a 1-0 lead on Utah, Seth Jones. You know, we were having a conversation about Albatross contract or contracts that have aged poorly. Look right at Seth Jones.
Yeah, you can look right at Seth Jones for that. You absolutely nailed it. You know who you can't look at as far as anything that's aged poorly, because he's only making $2 million? Ryan Donato. How has the Blackhawks not traded Ryan Donato already? He's got like 20-something goals and I think about 20 assists. He's only making $2 million. I know he wouldn't be getting those amount of point totals if he wasn't playing for the Blackhawks, but he's got to be moved. So we'll start this one here as Moritz Seider, Justin Hull gets knocked out and behind the net, Freddie Gaudreau. I don't have the rosters in front of me. I'll get those when we get to the break. As this one goes into the right side, Dylan Larkin tied up there with Middleton. Larkin able to force the steal nicely. I mean, it's just Four Nations, power play, penalty kill, everything else. Raymond goes off sides. Dylan Larkin is a Swiss Army knife. He does everything. Pull back up these rosters here so I can take a look. So no Eriksson Ek, no Kaprizov. We already knew that for Kaprizov, but no Eriksson Ek, who sustained an injury from Four Nations. Who didn't sustain an injury from Four Nations is probably the better question.
repairs for a new furnace or air conditioner. You'll be surprised at everyday prices. Meet or beat an out-of-state investor-owned competitor.
Little bonus hockey is I'm going to stick here with Ian until this Red Wings game is done, and then I will get the story and everything else typed up and get settled for tomorrow. Because I do got to spend some time with the missus. It's been a while. As the Red Wings line, again, no Petrie, no Rasmussen, no Kopp. Rasmussen, because of the hit to the head by Trevor Zegras, and Andrew Kopp done in the year, pectoral tear. That's going to set him out to the pretty much start of the. It says September 15th, so that would take him all the way through the playoffs as well. I wasn't aware of that. I just knew the regular season he was done, but I don't think Andrew Kopp is coming back. But that also means LTIR money. And then the sweetheart deal from the Ducks for Ville Husso, as they took the whole contract. I imagine only a 6 or 7 is coming back the other way. That Wings are going to have some money to spend. So when I mentioned Colton Parayko before, talked about that with Edmonton, we talked about that with Detroit from St. Louis. That's kind of where I would go. I think the Red Wings still needed a little defensive piece, but you could also argue a little bit of help there and alongside for an extra forward, because even if Kopp doesn't have all the numbers, he's a defensive guy that needs replaced because they called up Sheldon Dries, who I don't think has a ton of NHL experience, who's played a lot lately. Christian Fischer is the scratch. So a little bonus hockey that I guess I'll officially do the call for anyway because it's 9:36 left to go in the third. Red Wings were down a couple of goals to the Minnesota Wild. They've come back in the second to tie it. Edmondson was the latest one to score as Talbot will have this one saved in the corner. Now Matt Boldy saw him a lot on Team USA. Here for Patrick Kane. I don't know. Saw split. This will be sent back down. Again, if you give the Red Wings a power play late, that might be the difference here, as this is back in behind the cage. This will be Cider. We'll get this one in the high slot. 9:10 left to go in the third. That one just wide of the left post. Kane trying to get chased. Red Wings are pinched a little bit in their own end, so be careful here as Jonas Brodin will go ahead and send this one down the ice. 35 seconds of ship time here for Cider in his own end. He will get around the bowling pins and now leave this for Patrick Kane. A little bit too far for Joe Veleno as he just couldn't hold on to an easy pass for whatever reason. And right in across the XL Energy logo for Minnesota. They got a pretty good one. As this is sent back around for Matt Zuccarello on where Soderblom. I'll play this in his own end for Moritz Seider. So the Red Wings officially playing 3 games in 4 nights, right in off from the Four Nations break. Soderblom skated his way in the high slot. Here's a pass across Johansson. Slapper scores! Red Wings take the lead! I think Edmonton's got another one. So Simon Edmondson with a pair of goals. And the Red Wings were down 2-0. They're not down 2-0 anymore. It's 3-2. They got the lead on the road. 8:25 left.
Even strength goal. More importantly.
You said it, Ian. That was an absolute rocket. Credit Elmer Soderblom to drive in deep toward the left side post. I think that one kissed the post. And off the slap shot, again, I didn't have the TV on too loud, hit the post off the bottom of the right pipe and bounced in. 3 unanswered goals for Detroit. This is huge if they can get 2 points because they can keep pace with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So at least if they lose one of the 2 games in between their Thursday and Saturday, that the Saturday game will be where Ohio State plays at Nationwide Arena on the side of it, but that would be good for them. The Red Wings really need these 2 points to keep pace with Columbus. So 7 for Edmondson from Johansson and Soderblom. And off the drop, Marco Rossi's got one of the opening goals, as this one's knocked away for Savoy in the corner. Here is Trennan, try to give chase. Jakob Trennan back down the defense for Brodin. This one backhanded aside. 3 unanswered goals for Detroit against Minnesota, who is a really good defensive team. That is not a surprise. little bit of a reverse surprise from what Minnesota was able to give Detroit at Little Caesars. Didn't like that taste of medicine. We'll see if Detroit can hold. Again, they've not been able to hold leads late, but this is the first time that they've had one in this game. First multi-goal game by a Detroit D-man this season, Simon Edmondson. Welcome to the party. Again, that was a very high pick for Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings, alongside with Moritz Seider. They've defended guys that are big, can score, they can skate. Now Patrick Kane on his backhand, he needs some help toward the right side dot. He's just trying to find some space, a little soft feed in the corner for JT Compher. Takes a big hit, stays on his feet, but Detroit lost the puck for a moment. 6:45 left to go in the third. Delayed offsides will be blown dead against Minnesota.
So, John, for the Red Wings to make the playoffs, obviously their top guys have to perform, but the Red Wings are going to have to win games like this.
Yes.
And what do I mean by like this? Well, let's take a look. The 3 goals that have been scored have been by a forward that is probably one of the least productive on the team, and 2 goals by a defenseman.
Yeah, 2 goals by a second-year defenseman, and you're right about the thing for Tarasenko's only got 8. Evanson almost has as many as him, so you're absolutely right. Secondary, tertiary goal scoring, you need it all. That's what they're getting. Marco Rossi gets it knocked away from him, and Seider will push this one in the corner for Ben Chiarot. Again, the Red Wings just joining this one in progress alongside Ian Genge. A little bonus hockey. Dylan Larkin gets the steal. Throws this one down the ice for Philip Gustafsson. Gustafsson now will leave. And alongside for Minnesota, let their forwards take a change. 4th line time here, essentially for Detroit, as Jacob Middleton's pass will get sent all the way down. That's just an awful icing for Minnesota. 5:55 left to go in the third. This will be the Red Wings in an offensive zone draw. So it was Rossi on the power play in the first from Boldy and Spurgeon, Jacob Lauko, his third from Shore and Jakob Trenin. And in the second period, 2 for Detroit, Vlad Tarasenko, Gustafsson, Kasper, Edmondson from DeBrincat and Compher, and then Edmondson from Johansson and Soderblom. The latest at 11:35 of the third, as the Ravens have scored 3 unanswered. Joe Veleno going to go ahead and try to take this draw in front of Kushtadinov. And Veleno can't get this one off the tie-up as this one goes into the players' bench. So another stoppage, last one of 4 seconds. I think we'll just step aside of the FanDuel Sports Network coverage in Detroit. Simon Edmondson with an absolute clapper. Might have got double deflected off the right post and in. Wings got the lead. We'll close this one out and come back. You know what? This is going to sound weird to say. I don't know what's worse. The Seattle Kraken losing 7-1 to the Blues, because I'm happy for the Blues. I'm happy for you, Ian. Or the Hurricanes just losing 4-0 to the Canadiens, because both of those are not good. And Carolina, you could say it's a one-off, but they've not exactly played well since they've gotten Mikko Rantanen.
This broadcast are reserved. Any rebroadcast, recording, retranslations, telecommunications to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Detroit Red Wings is prohibited.
On one part, I do agree that losing 4-0 to a team on paper you should beat easily is humiliating, but then again, losing 7-1 in hockey, is just, this is a game that is known not to be high scoring at all. So when you lose by 6 or more, or no, make that 5 or more. If it's a 5-goal difference, I feel like that's more humiliating than what happened to the Canes tonight. Because an off night can happen. When you get pants by a team, especially from a team like the Blues, who have not been a team that blows others out. We scratch and claw and rely on Jordan Binnington to save us. That is not happening tonight.
That's fair to say, and I'm not going to argue that one either way, because when it's a cold bin on the other side, that really is embarrassing. Brock Faber gets the shot blocked. The Red Wings, this is an important 5 minutes for them. Again, I'm not sure that they're aware that the Columbus Blue Jackets have already won. Again, it might not be time to do standing search just yet. It's going to be a big weekend series off of back-to-back. 2 games against Columbus, 1 on home ice and 1 away. As this one now picked up by Boldy. High slot. He'll get this one for Faber. Start this one again, Marco Rossi. Brock Faber. He's got it. Near the right side dot. Backhand move nicely here for Faber. Still in the high slot. Lets it go through the screen. This one deflected. The Red Wings able to get this out with Dylan Larkin. Ostrich just too far for more. Lucas Raymond, he would have had a breakaway. This one picked up now by Lucas in the corner off the tie-up. Red Wings will watch this one go right to left for Minnesota. Again, they're in the home green with the cream color and the red striping, but all green on the side, and the Red Wings have the road whites that they have now. I'm hoping that they go back to reds at some point. We get the white jerseys at home. Minnesota fans on it. This is turned over inexplicably in their own zone. And now Patrick Kane can't get this one out back to D. As we'll start this one again, he got knocked away from JT Compher. Kushchadinov, he gets hit, knocked down. Picked up by Kane and near the right side boards. Kushchadinov now trying to get to the right side. This will be sent down for Jared Spurgeon. He can't hold the blue line. Spurgeon now for Jonas Brodin. Brodin, start this one on his own end. 3:35 left to go in the third. A big 2 points on hand for Detroit. They really need it. Sherratt, this one goes off the outside of the cage of Talbot. Here is Brodin, shot to the screen. Talbot does find it. Big save there because he was swallowed up in the traffic. 3:23 left to go in the third. So big save in amongst the traffic for Cam Talbot. Again, I'm watching this one in progress alongside with Ian Genge. And we're having a lot of fun. This was a very expansive NHL night. Again, I'm glad that his team gets to win big. And I'm very surprised because the way this game started, I didn't think the Red Wings were going to win anything at all. And Pittsburgh got dumped on too. It was a 6-1 win for the Flyers. Flyers don't score goals. So for them to break out, that is big. It is a D-zone draw. Joe Veleno can't win it. And now this is Chisholm.
7-2 Blues, just a minor update.
I said 3 as much for the Kraken. That's as much as they'll get. They do score a ton in the third, but I don't think they're not going to get anywhere close enough. As Chisholm loses the puck, and this one will be sent back down. They recollected now for Rossi, and touch back one more time for Faber. 2:55 left to go in the third. When will Gustafson leave the goal crease? Boldy. This will be sent back in. The last 3 games, this would be the last 3 if it did, would be overtime for Detroit if they give up a goal. Here is Rossi on the back skate, and it's Matt Boldy. Now for Chisholm. The Clan Chisholm will send this one across. This will be just kept on the blue line. Shot deflected by the Red Wings defense. Raymond trying to get this one out. He does. Shoveled down. This will not be iced. 2:20 left to go in the third. The Red Wings have just 16 shots in this game, yet they've scored 3 times. Minnesota has 24. This one now sent in toward the right side boards. Detroit, no net pull for Minnesota yet, as John Hines' squad looks on. And toward the right, Larkin able to get it up. And this will be Freddie Gaudreau. We'll pick this one back up. 1:50 left to go in the third. I'm still not seeing an empty net pull just yet being designated. Still 5 on the ice. Here's a drop from Johansson, and this one will go wide. Now Minnesota has pulled Philip Gustafsson. 1:40 left to go in the third. It's pretty late into the period, but now they go 6-on-5 the rest of the way. They're trying to tie this one up. Brock Faber gains the entry. I've seen him score a game winner against the Dallas Stars in overtime. This was back from the Christmas break. Last time I looked at Minnesota. Johansson, now Foligno. This one's brushed from the right side corner, but the puck's moving, so the play's not blown dead. Detroit still desperate to get this one out. Ben Sherratt will send this one in deep for Seider. Seider now slowly off the glass for Ved Tarasenko. This will get at least through center ice. So Detroit's done their job there. A minute left to go here in the third. Can the Red Wings come all the way back to steal 2 points? Here's a chance. This one bounces off of Matt Boldy and the Red Wings. Red Wings now, this is in deep in the defensive zone. Faber off the push. Matt Zuccarello keeps it in. And alongside Marco Rossi, 45 seconds left to go in the third. Here's Faber toward the right side of the wall. Zuccarello shoots at the traffic. This goes wide off the one-timer. Boldy had to look it up. Now chipped in off the glass. The Red Wings might have iced it, but I don't think they care, as it's 32 seconds left. They cannot change. They've had so many tired bodies on the ice. Kind of wonder if Todd McClellan's going to call a timeout, but you don't want to give Minnesota any extra rush, as it was Marco Rossi had a wide open 1T toward the right side of the red line, but he hit the outside of the mesh. 32 seconds left to go in this one. Elmer Soderblom's got a pair, and the Red Wings will go over and talk about it, and so will Minnesota. I did not see who issued the timeout, but we have one. It is timeout Minnesota. Please, oh please, I say as a Red Wings fan, let this comeback hold up. 5 out of 6 possible points in games out of 3 or 4 nights. You're absolutely going to take that to the bank if you're Detroit. 0 complaints for me.
I also want to share something that's kind of funny. So Seattle, it's now officially 7-2, but the Blues, even though they're up 7, they're up 6, now 5 goals at this point, they still challenge for goalie interference on the second Seattle goal.
That is rubbing salt in the wound at that point.
Yeah.
32 seconds, but hey, I don't mind it. You said press the issue. I agree with you. You got to be able to do it. If you don't get a chance to score that many. Brock Faber, this one gets cleared to center ice. Start this one again. Boldy off the spin. Good lift there for Tarasenko. Minnesota try to find the entry. Everybody's standing here. It's Zuccarello near the left side dot. He's being swallowed up by the crowd. Minnesota does have the puck. Seider try to get this one to the right side. Seider can't get it out. Down to 5 seconds. Minnesota has it in behind the net. Here is Detroit. Try to brush this one in the corner. And the Red Wings are going to do it. They're going to come all the way back and score 3 unanswered goals and steal 2 points against the Minnesota Wild. They take 5 of the last 6 on games of 3 or 4 nights in a row. That's going to set up back-to-back against the Columbus Blue Jackets, home and road on Thursday and Saturday. But what a big job there for the defense and Simon Edmondson as he scores the game winner. Detroit takes it 3-2.
A regulation win in Detroit's economy?
Yes. Regulation goals, regulation win. How about that?
Okay. They are now 2 points up on the Columbus Blue Jackets for the first wild card spot.
Unbelievable. That is gigantic for Detroit. Again, that'll put them at 66 points. Columbus at 64. Again, both of those teams are exactly where they are. The Red Wings have 58 games just like Columbus. And as Ian mentioned, it's a 2-point lead. And you have an opportunity at WC1 and 2 on back-to-back nights where the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets have an opportunity to gut punch each other for 4 points. The best case scenario, I would say, is obviously the Wings getting 2 wins, but that's not likely. If the Wings and Blue Jackets split, I think both teams can live with it. If the teams end up stealing 4 points against each other, Ian, that is huge.
Yeah, but let's take a moment to appreciate this one, John. It's February 25th.
Yes.
We have what? About a month and a half, and maybe a little less left in the regular season before the playoffs.
Yeah, about 22, 23 games, month and a half, yes.
And we're talking about the Detroit Red Wings and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yes.
As wild card teams.
It's beautiful. I mean,
okay. I don't even think Columbus Blue Jackets fans had themselves anywhere near here. I don't want to challenge the faith that Red Wing fans have in their team, but be honest with us, John. Did you think they would be in this position?
no, not considering the way they started with Derek Lalonde. They were only ahead of the Buffalo Sabres in the Eastern Conference. They were dead. They were absolutely done. And again, you think about it in the mix of Todd McClellan. He's come in. I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me. He's been something like 17-5-1 since the coaching change.
I remember when Tom McClellan was brought on, there were some rumblings. So, as I recall, weren't there some like Stevie, you're bringing in him? Really? This is the same guy that's known for. I mean, he's known for his playoff failures. You're bringing him in.
There probably was some of that, but I would say the latter, Ian, was Steve Yzerman's job was on the hot seat because you're thinking about some of the stuff in the offseason in between Petrie, Sherratt, Kopp, Comfer. You're bringing in those guys. Are they really difference makers? How many third or fourth liners do you want on this team? That's what was the hot seat thing, especially for Yzerman. Hey, you've been here for 7-8 years, and they forget about what he inherited, still having to pay Justin Abelkader, Jimmy Howard, all this stuff. I've talked about that for years. Jonathan Erickson, all these guys that are pylons, they completely stink, and you mixed it in between Ken Holland and not rebuilding and blowing the team up. They don't want to give Yzerman credit for fixing everything, but Yzerman's job, according to a lot of people, was really on the hot seat.
He might have just said, I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say he saved his job, but they don't make it to the playoffs this season. He has no excuse next year.
Yes, I agree. I think next year is the year, Ian, that he must make the playoffs. And this team, I'm going to say this. I'm going to point blank this for next year. Then again, that'll be 25-26 season. I want the Red Wings to make the playoffs and win a round next season. That's my barometer.
Yeah, and if they do it this year, that kind of puts you ahead of schedule, right?
I agree. Yes.
So, but then again, okay, we know that hockey as a sport is probably not one of the best, but the best for parity when it comes to. I think it really is a sport that embodies the just make it to the dance. And it's the, it's that just make it. Just get in and see what happens, right? And watching Detroit, they just need to hold on. And I feel like, let's see, hang on. Let's look at the standings right now. Assuming, and this is the ideal scenario for me, assuming that they make that, well, them and the Columbus Blue Jackets make it to the, they make it to the, what do you call it? Assuming they all make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is what they both make it to the playoffs. This is what I'm seeing. So, as it stands right now, it would be the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Washington Capitals,
Yeah.
the Detroit Red Wings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Personally, I don't think the Jackets beat the Caps in a 7-game series. I think maybe with their young core, they push it to 5, possibly 6. But I think experience overtakes them. I gotta be honest, John. I gotta be honest, John. I think the Red Wings can beat the Leafs.
You know, this game has gone back and forth. The Red Wings don't have the season series against Toronto, excuse me, and it does go back and forth. Yes, they have some top end talent, but it's really going to come down to Anthony Stolarz and Talbot, is it not? I mean, that's really the main thing for me, and I think the Red Wings could at least get to Game 6 or 7.
Well, here's also because Leafs, whether it's a hot take or not, I still stand by it. I believe they are the most fraudulent team in the league, and I mean that.
Yeah, you've been consistent with it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to stray from that. And so far, yes, they've gotten better, but they're not. But they're only 3 points away from becoming the 3rd seed and possibly getting the Devils, the Hurricanes, or the Lightning.
Yeah, they would if they end up in the 2nd seed, and they're going to play Tampa at the moment, and Tampa's going to beat the crap out of them, I think.
Agreed. Well, actually, no. They make the 2nd. If they're the 2nd seed,
you play the other team that's in the same division with you if you're in the 2nd or 3rd seed.
Oh, I thought it was 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5.
That's normally how it would be in basketball and all that, but in hockey, you got it right with the 1 seeds. The 1 seeds will play the wild cards, but the 2 3s play each other in the same division.
Oh, I did not realize that. So
yes.
If they go against the Lightning, yeah, they're dead.
They're done. If they go against they're not beating the Lightning. It's not happening. I'm going to say that right now. Because the fact that you're picking Detroit to beat Toronto, and I'm not dogging you, because I said I think the Wings can get to Game 6 or Game 7. I think the Wings are going to give Toronto a scare. I do agree with you on Washington and Columbus. I do think Columbus can give them a scare. They can score. I will say with Washington, I've been on this all year. I know Logan Thompson's been bailing them out. I wonder how far Washington's going to go. Because I'll say Washington, they get in the playoffs comfortably. I'm not picking Washington to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think they'll win it.
I agree with that. As a matter of fact, if I had to pick a team that would win the Stanley Cup,
Give me one in the East and one in the West before I go.